the scenes here that Matt has already triggered himself about this. It's okay, Matt. We're going to get there. Don't worry about it. As we welcome you to the crossover, and it appears as if his internet has just died.
I'm going to add myself. I'm adding myself in here.
Come on in.
Smart.
The water's fine.
Jumping in. First time I've done the crossover on the stream before. Wild.
Well, it might not be a crossover. It might just be our show.
His head was shaking pretty vigorously at the little footage I had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the people on or Jimmy on YouTube is saying that there is an echo.
Yeah, Mike didn't mute himself.
Schaefer in particular is echoing. Did we take care of it?
I got it.
Okay.
I apologize.
Harry, we took care of it. Oh, there, Matt put himself in, took himself out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Matt.
All right. Hi. The reason why I had my hands in my head in my hands was because as soon as we started going live is when my computer started to crash. So we're all good now, but my computer had an issue. It wasn't an issue on the studio's end, it was an issue on my end. But now we're good. We're good. We're great. How are we?
We
How
look
are
great.
everybody.
What's going on over there?
This is awesome. I'm very happy to be here. Currently, right now, the Michigan band is getting all set up. Gene Honda is on the 1s and 2s. He was warming up a couple of minutes ago, the PA announcer for the Bulls Blackhawks and the Maui Classic.
I talked to Gene last year. He still does the DePaul games.
He does. Gene.
So I talked to Gene. I said, Gene, you don't know me, and I barely know you, but I appreciate your voice. It is a beautiful voice. And he was like, thank you. Or however he says it. It's a very good voice that Gene Honda has.
Gene Honda
he might be the one PA guy I know.
That sounds like such a fake name.
Gene Honda?
Yeah.
What? He does kind of sound fake, actually.
It does not seem like a real name.
It's like Gene Parmesan.
It seems more real to me than Gene.
I can find out if it's his real name or not. Because I know
it's got to be his real name. Gene
I
Honda's
know.
still fake.
Let me ask.
What if prior to getting into the PA game, he sold cars and he was Gene Honda?
I think his real name is like Williams or something like that.
Could be.
I know somebody who is like close personal friends with Gene.
Of course you do. From Chicago.
Yeah, you know the guy who sang the national anthem that one time.
No, a woman. I do know a woman who sang the national anthem. She also sang the national anthem for the Orange Bowl.
Could you give me that? Could you give me the background? Oh yeah, you're just talking about what's his name's daughter.
Bangs. There you go. That's it.
So could you explain to me how that person was going to get you in touch with Kevin Warren? How was that supposed to work?
Well, I know the person who knows the person really well, who through other people knowing people that I could probably finagle a way to get to somebody who could get me to Kevin Warren.
But that didn't have anything.
So much in there that the
guys, I don't think I could actually get to Kevin Warren through that person. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like that's not something I truly believe. I would not put that person through the struggle of, for whatever reason, trying to get Kevin Warren connected to me. Okay. That was a farcical statement. I could not get connected. I could not get connected with Kevin Warren.
Let me ask you this question, because I am actually very interested in how you answer this. Let's say that for some reason you get 5 minutes with Kevin Warren and he agrees to answer your question.
Yeah.
What are you going to spend your time at? And he's going to answer honestly.
He has truth serum.
Yeah. You are getting honest answers from Kevin Warren. What do you want to ask him about?
Number one would be, was Indiana a bluff? Like just the Indiana situation. Did you approach it as a bluff and it got real, or was it just always a bluff, or was it just you actually wanted to do it? I would want to genuinely know, like when he first went to reach out to Indiana, what were the intentions of him doing that?
You wouldn't ask him about the 2020 Big Ten football season.
That's where I went with it.
Secondly, I would ask him about so Matt Eberflus had a presser and then got fired. Like they brought him and there's reportedly, like the rumor is that there was this super secret meeting between Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, and George McCaskey. And they basically had to convince George to fire Matt after the Thanksgiving game. I would want to know, did that actually happen? What was that meeting? And what he honestly thinks of George McCaskey. Because I get the vibe that Kevin is he has to like deal with George. I don't think Kevin and George actually
I get
like
the vibe
each
that
other.
people have to deal with Kevin Warren.
Yeah, and I get the vibe that they don't like each other, but George knows that Kevin knows what he's doing, and so he kind of deals with it. I would love to know. I would ask him, number one, Indiana, and the number two, what is your actual relationship with George McCaskey? Because
So you're more curious about the McCaskey relationship than what happened to the 2020 Big Ten football season?
Oh, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't really care about
He has truth serum. You can ask him anything.
I'm more worried about the Bears. I don't really care about what happened in 2020 anymore.
Right.
That he
I
botched.
wanna-
I mean,
You could probably write a book. You could be the new Bill
Yeah,
Moose.
you could have a heck of a book on your hands.
Here's my thing. He botched it. Everybody knows he botched it. Everybody knows he messed up. I don't really need to hear his side of the story.
You don't want to hear him say he botched it. I do.
I want to hear him say, yeah, I went to these media people, Pat Forty, Nicole Auerbach,
Mhm.
Desmond Howard, who's
Mhm.
like, hey, ratchet up the pressure on Nebraska.
Mhm.
It's making me look bad.
Mhm.
I suspect that's actually a real sad thing that he did.
He's a
Oh,
sad
sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe. I would love to hear the Big Ten commissioner admit that he had a vendetta against Nebraska, like people thought he had a vendetta against Nebraska. I can imagine that. I'm just more so worried about he currently is
Going to Hammond
president-
for your home games?
Yeah, seriously. That's kind of I'm more concerned about the future than I am what happened and what I could probably, you could probably get to those answers just looking at his previous actions.
Has the morning show caused you to really consider that Hammond is a possibility now? Like, is it in your head further than it ever has
Not
been?
the morning show. There's a lot of Chicago guys in Chicago radio and Chicago.
Yeah, but we were
writers.
driving this thing.
No, you were not. I was not listening to you guys for actual information on the Hammond.
Whoa!
I was listening to other local sports radio with
So we
sources
just happened
about
to
it.
be in the forefront of this, and then
Stop
it
it!
turned
You
out-
guys talked about this in the most satire-ish way that you could possibly satirical way you possibly can. Okay, you made jokes about it, and you knew by making jokes about it, it would get the reaction that I've had, which makes you guys laugh. You guys like it when I get mad. Okay, that is your number one form of comedy. So
Facts.
you do whatever it is
to inform
get me
the general
pissed off.
public about what's going on.
There is Mike Schaefer's sarcastic, facetious voice. It's
That
a
is
little
not
octave
true.
higher.
No,
I still
I
can't
don't
believe
believe it.
you honestly
I
asked.
don't sound any different than when I'm sincere.
I cannot believe you honestly asked, have Matt and Jake ever met each other?
I
When
genuinely
literally-
cannot remember the
I will
interview.
never forget it. We went to Friday Night SmackDown, and I was hungry, and so I went to Gate 25, and I walked in, and you were there, and I was like, "Whoa, Schaefer!" And we didn't know each other that well. at
Just
the
a little
time.
bit, yeah.
We were friendly, but we weren't friends, and we hung out for 2.5 hours that night and watched the Iowa-Nebraska game.
We did. Yeah.
Became legitimate friends, and you were sitting next to Jake, and you go, "Jake, Matt, Jake, you guys are of radio. You should know each other." And so I met Jake and talked to him for about an hour. Great guy. Big fan of Jake Sorensen.
No,
there you
you
go.
won't have to run into him for
I
another
remember
several
all of
hours.
this. All of this, as you explained. Yeah, he's all the way across the state. He booked the wrong hotel room.
Where's he at?
He's in the wrong part. He's in Oak Park.
He's fine. He's okay. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get here, but
That's
He's
that was
informed us.
that was his main triggering point. Yeah.
it's going to be tough. That's not necessarily the most convenient place to be, but he's not like across the state. He's just in a very highly trafficked place.
Mhm.
I know I shouldn't have taken that literally.
Quad Cities. That's where he's at. Joliet.
Home of the Bears.
I did have a great morning today, though. I went and got up and took a shower and went to the train, took the train in, got to Western.
Do you have like a sense of renewed energy when you're in Chicago? Is there like a little extra pep in your step? Like it's your city?
Yeah, when
You're
you're
back
back in
there.
Chicago,
Sure.
do you feel it?
Yeah. There you go, Connor. Yes, when I'm back in Chicago. I do. Of course, it's home. This is really cool for me just because like my first game I ever went to at Memorial Stadium was in the press box. I didn't have a freshman year to go to games and like create memories at Memorial Stadium. So like how maybe you guys felt about going to the Memorial Stadium press box for the first time and like doing a job there is kind of how I feel now, where this is like where I grew up going to games and stuff like that. And I have a lot of really like concrete childhood memories I created in the stadium. And so to like be here on a professional standpoint is super cool. Super cool.
Hey, what time's the first game? 11 or 11:30?
11 o'clock. I got here at 8:40. I was the first media person in the building. They asked me what I wanted the channel. What they were like, what channels would you like the TV monitors to?
Oh, can we have a tour? You haven't even
yeah.
showed us what you're doing. Yeah.
So this is where I'm at right now. And then
show to.
It looks like you're just in a giant conference. Oh,
okay. You're the hockey press box.
I'm in the hockey press box. So here we are.
So I'm excited to see what happens when more people show up.
Yeah,
specifically what happens to Matt's Wi-Fi. I'm interested.
No, I'm on a secure media Wi-Fi right now. So I'm not on the
very
general
secure.
Wi-Fi.
Very, very secure. Do you have an Ethernet plug that you could plug into? Yeah, get some hard line. There. Oh, does your computer have that available? Oh, okay. You need an adapter for that. You need an adapter.
Thanks, Dad. That would have been great to recommend to me before I got here.
It actually would have. I apologize. I do have an adapter for this exact situation.
No.
Yeah, I went because when I got triggered one year because I was sitting courtside at an NCAA tournament game, and I was like, the internet literally doesn't work
Famously, the internet in those arenas are almost always.
And so I went out to Best Buy the next day after I got a sandwich, and then I bought an adapter, and it's a great thing for that exact circumstance.
What kind of sandwich?
That is 100%. I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to know the thing.
It was Permanente Brothers. It was a couple years ago in Pittsburgh.
I wondered if that's what.
It was my second Permanente Brothers of the weekend.
Did you get the same sandwich each time?
No, I think I got a slightly different one, but not different
Which
enough.
one did you like more?
I don't remember. Probably the first.
The whole experience.
Probably the first one.
Itself was
the
good
first
enough.
one was always the best.
Okay.
But anyway, adapter. I have one. You could have used it. Sorry.
I'm really locked in where I'm gonna eat after the show today. There's a lot of good options.
What are you thinking?
Well, I think I'm going to do the Goose Island Pub today because I just want to get it out of the way. But I think tomorrow I'm going to go to Gibson's. They have a little Gibson stand at like section 104 where they give you little petite filet mignon sliders. They're like the bomb. They're incredible. And then I think like section 114, they got a Modelo Cantina where they make some really good tacos over there. And you can get some chips and queso. So think about that. I don't know. So at the United Center, the 200 level, they don't have like a Lexus club per se at like they don't have like a specific little section off club at the UC, but the entire 200 section is a club, is the club level. And so you get like unique different like stands that you can like eat there. And I wonder if media has access to the 200 level.
I doubt it, but with all your connections, you could probably get some.
You probably
my dad is going to sit in the 200 sections today. And at some point he's going to want to see me. So I don't know. I'm going to probably have to.
Do they not have like
somebody
a media spread for you?
No, they don't. They give you a little voucher and you just go and you pick it up. Yeah, I have some complaints.
Yikes.
I have some major complaints about the dealings of what's happened here this morning.
It sounds like an incredibly well-run Big Ten event.
Yeah, no, it's not. In particularly,
For the Big Ten, it is.
For
working internet, it seems like you're on a high point of the whole.
For now, and by the way, it
For
took
the
me
Big
20
Ten.
minutes. It took me 20 minutes to connect because on their password thing, like they had a letter that I didn't know if it was an O or a 0. Like I didn't know if it was
20 minutes
0
to
or
figure
no.
out that.
No, there was a whole. Then it didn't connect. I had to restart my computer. I put in the same password over and over again. It wouldn't work. They also have too many oatmeal raisin cookies here, and not enough white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. It's like we're talking like a 5-to-1 ratio from white chocolate to oatmeal.
That is tough. I can't believe that the Big Ten would have that many. What was it?
Oatmeal raisin.
Oh, I like oatmeal raisin, but come on, 5-to-1 is ridiculous.
They have a big outline. We're working with a little kind of four different circles, like 4 spheres, right? So the first circle. First pinwheel here is a chocolate chip. All right. Then it's all oatmeal raisin. And then there's like a little bit of white macadamia nut, like this many, and then it's all chocolate chip again. It's ridiculous. There's no red velvet cookies either. Just some popcorn. And the drink selection isn't all that great either.
Is it a Coke arena?
It is a Coke arena. Diet Coke, Coke, Fanta, Sprite, core hydration,
everything you need, man.
Fancy water. So
hey, why does your microphone have a towel on it?
It has a little. This is like a koozie. I don't know. This is just how I have it set up. It's just better when the koozie's on and then I have the muff.
Why is it better when the koozie's on?
Because I don't know. It just fits better when I have had it on. This is how I've done I-80 Club stuff.
Oh, it fits better. That's
yes, it fits better. Like it's a little cover before you put the muff on. It just the muff grabs onto it better if I do it that way.
What does the cover say?
What?
What does it say?
It's Bud Light. It's a koozie.
I couldn't read the.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to give
free advertising.
Nope. Now you shut it off. Unfortunately, I think Matt. You're back on.
I accidentally muted myself. So, but we're here. We're fun. How was your show today?
It was great. We had a lot of fun. Nebraska lost in the round of 32 again in the bracket sim, and
I faced my fears with a prediction.
Yeah. I predicted that Nebraska would end up in like still a mildly desirable place, but a indesirable time to play their first round game.
Oh, you think they're going to tip off at 9? That'd be incredible.
I think they're going to play like Friday, like evening. You know,
I hate it.
Connor, you're such a troll because you're so beautiful as a troll in this way. It's never the obvious, right? It's not like you pick against them. Hey, wait. It's not like he picks against them to lose in the first round, or it's not like he says like outlandish false statements to make everybody mad, but he wishes the most minute, small inconveniences to happen to people that he knows would rattle them, which is the idea that Connor is predicting a 9:30 tip for Nebraska basketball is
in St. Louis.
Which is still a good thing.
It's beautiful because it really isn't that big of a deal. But Connor knows by putting it out in the ether, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, 9 o'clock tip! I got to wait all day to watch it, and then I'm gonna have to go to bed at 12 a.m. And if they don't win, it's gonna ruin my entire next day."
You got it. You nailed it.
Yeah,
man.
I like how you stopped it next day. I don't know that there's an amount of time of which will be sufficiently unruined for me.
Well, because here's the thing, like, Connor isn't
ruin the entire thing. If they win in St. Louis at 5:30 on Friday,
he said if they lose,
okay, if they lose, everything is ruined.
Yes.
More the game it is ruined.
Yeah, it's like several.
You're absolutely right. I would be ruined.
In your specific case, Schaefer, it might ruin a long time.
I will be in a funk.
I will not forget.
Connor looked right at the camera when he said that.
Nebraska's definitely you talk about really subtle trolling, Matt. Nebraska's definitely going to win a tournament again. Yeah.
So another, but here's the thing, because if you go to the afternoon show, they're ridiculous. Like they don't hide it at all. You got two guys on that show being like, "Oh, if they don't make it to the second weekend, it's a disappointing season," which is the craziest goalpost moving I've ever seen.
Predictable thing imaginable, by the way.
Schaefer wasn't even working here when he came on the morning show and said, "I know what's going to happen. Nebraska's going to keep winning, and John is going to be like, oh, they have to make the second weekend." That's how he predicted that.
The goalposts were 100% going to boot.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I respect Connor for not being as outlandish as that, and I respect the fact that he's like, yeah, I mean, I hope that they're like, I think they'll have weird travel, or it's like, maybe Nebraska will have to take a commercial flight is my prediction.
You're welcome.
I think they would probably just bus over the commercial.
I think they would.
St. Louis.
Ooh, would you rather take a 6-hour bus ride or a commercial flight? You got to take it because you'd be taking a 1-hour bus ride to Omaha.
I'm thinking about.
You're already driving 1 hour
driving to Omaha. Nah, there's enough charters. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, they're definitely.
I read yesterday.
I don't know about that. That might be the topic on Middays with Matt today.
There's enough.
Might not be enough charters out there for people. We might
have you heard where they're all going?
I have.
Are you going to talk about that part, Matt?
No.
All right.
No, we're not going to talk about that. We're
That's
just going
fine.
to talk about why other resources won't be
So,
available to college
Here's what
basketball
you
players.
should do. Here's what you should do. You should pretend like, eventually people are going to join you in that press box area. You should pretend like you're doing a political talk show.
Oh, should I do my inner Clay Travis?
Yeah, you should just rip off a bunch of like the second someone sits down near you,
Yeah.
just rip off a bunch of political takes.
So like the guys
Would
just got next to me and be like, I'm really concerned about Iran, and just I got
It's
it.
a weird thing to be-
We got to start talking about whether or not how long is this thing going to go.
Yeah, certain files. If you wanted to talk about any of those, not the Frager files. Not
Don't bring those.
What
up.
are the Frager files?
the Frager files are what people say when they're worried about Braden Frager, and when the truth.
Which has happened like 9
Yeah.
times in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't. Well, I did say I was. I didn't say I was worried about Braden Frager as much as I said that I want him to go off. Today.
Yeah, see, you're talking about the actual basketball stuff.
We're
They're
talking
Oh,
about
you're talking about guys.
his body
I don't-
language,
his
yeah.
general
where he
immaturity
sits on the bench, but he's
Yeah.
not Chad Baker. Like he hasn't pulled one of those yet.
That's true. He hasn't Chad Baker Mazzared yet, and that guy was 28.
Yeah,
I have a hard and fast
People are
rule of
emotionally stable.
I just the whole when it's like entirely speculation that's on social media and the body language doctors are my favorite people on Twitter.
yeah,
because
they're out
they
there.
are they're
He definitely needs to get his act together, but like it's not a big deal. It's okay.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't
He
agree more.
does. We can also be like, he's 19.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay for you as your mid-30s guy to
Yeah.
not overly react to how the 19-year-old reacts.
Well, like it's one of those things where I dealt with it all last season with Pete Crow Armstrong and people like flipping out about it. But when he was like on fire hitting 330, like nobody gave a damn. Like nobody cared. Like it but as soon as he starts
Remember
having a
Pico
slump,
Armstrong being a thing.
he had a really good start to the season.
He had
no,
blue
I know
hair.
that,
He had
and I
blue
know that-
hair. They didn't like his blue hair.
I don't
No.
know his like body language. Being
Oh God, no! He gets
Gotta
to
have more
first
to do
base
with
and he
striking
slams
shots.
his helmet down. He's one of the worst in-box strikeout guys. When he like strikes out a big spot, he's throwing his bat, he's throwing his helmet, he's taking off the guard. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. But like, he's young, super young guy. I never really cared about him. But people spend 40 minutes talking about it. It's so dumb. I agree. Frager files are ridiculous. You don't know. I mean, you don't.
So don't talk about those. Talk about the other.
The other files.
The X Files.
The Epstein files.
X Files.
Is that website-
You were
Is that
born.
website still going on? Of like where you could just put in somebody's name and you can find
Oh,
out
yeah.
how many times
That's
they
the
popped
public
up?
record, my friend.
Are you going to search Kevin Warren's name before you talk to him?
Oh, good. Should I just start, searching like if it's a Michigan person?
Hey.
Should I just start searching Michigan people?
If you see Manfred's boy, sock him for me.
Manfred's boy? Who's
Yeah, Manfred's boy, Tony Petiti. Sock him for me.
Kevin Warren not in the files.
Um,
All right, now
Thank you,
tell Tony Petiti.
All right.
how many people do you think like Tony Petiti walking around
Nope,
the United
nothing.
Center today? How many people do you think
You know how
like,
to spell
fans?
Tony Petiti
would re-
without even having to look it up?
How many fans do you think walking around the United Center, if they saw Tony Petiti, would know that's the Big Ten Conference Commissioner?
A lot. I mean,
You really think a lot of
he'll
people?
be like wearing a suit. He'll be with 3 other guys. Like, yeah, I think
He's
so.
definitely wearing. Tony Petiti strikes me as a gray suit guy, like an intimidating gray suit
Yeah.
with like a striped shirt today.
He won't show his face before he awards a championship trophy on Sunday.
Rob Manfred's in here 5 times, guys.
Oh no!
What? Is Bettman in there? I didn't know. Some people got beef with Bettman. Some people
Nope.
really don't like Gary Bettman. Good for Betts.
I thought you were one of them. Weren't
I
you
hate
an
him. I can't
anti-Bettman?
stand him.
You ranked him last.
Yeah.
I
in
think
your
he's
horrible
terrible.
commissioner rankings.
He's terrible. His players don't get paid enough. Not enough people. His TV contracts suck. Not enough people pay attention to his sport. But we're all like, oh, Gary Bettman. He's got the Stanley Cup.
I have no takes on Gary Bettman.
My take is I trust him over Manfred. That's my take.
Agreed.
You think he likes hockey?
Generally, yeah.
We
Okay.
know that Manfred doesn't like baseball.
Yeah,
We are
he's the Joe Buck of commissioners.
we are getting to the point now where it's like this stadium is probably, or this arena is probably going to get obnoxiously loud.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. It kind of feels that way. So
And like I just think Gene Honda is going to be blaring over the microphone for a lot of the show.
The music has definitely gotten louder since we started.
It literally just turned. They turned it up big time while we were here. But it's so annoying because nobody's on the court. Who cares? But people are starting to trickle in here at the UC.
People in Omaha are starting to do radio shows.
Currently, right now, I would say Michigan is winning in terms of fan attendance. We will see how it progresses.
I think they'll hold on to that lead.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be.
I'm not convinced Ohio State has basketball fans.
No, that's what I said. Ohio State, Chicago is an awesome Ohio State town, not for basketball. So, all righty, boys, great show. Appreciate the interview earlier today. Thank you for the crossover. This was fun. Middays with Matt, a special edition of Middays with Matt here at the Big Ten Tournament, brought to you by Early Bird, is up next. The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. MWM coming up next.
Welcome to the United Center. Your safety is our number one concern. In the event of an evacuation, please remain calm and follow these guidelines to ensure everyone's safety. Elevators and escalators will not be in use in an emergency. If seated on the floor or in the 100 level sections, please exit the seating area and enter the concourse. Turn left or right and proceed to the nearest unobstructed exit. Once outside, proceed away from the facility. If seated in the lower level suites, please exit the suite and enter the concourse. Proceed to the nearest unobstructed exits using the staircases located on the north, south, and corners of the building. Then proceed to the first floor and exit the building. If seated in the 200 level, please exit your seating area and proceed to the concourse using the staircases located on the north, south, and corners of the building. Then proceed to the first floor and exit the building. If seated in the club level suites, please exit your seating area and proceed to the concourse. Please use the staircases located on the north, south, and corners of the building. Then proceed to the first floor and exit the building. If seated in the 300 level or standing room only areas, please exit the seating area and proceed to the concourse. Head to the nearest unobstructed exit located in the corners of the building. Then proceed down the stairs and exit the building. If seated in the penthouse level suites, exit the suite and proceed to the nearest unobstructed exit in the corners of the building. Then proceed down the
What's up, chat? How we doing? John Claude.
As a reminder,
Dan Franco's Matt McCott Mike. No, I'm doing the Jack Mitchell thing where I talk to the YouTube chat during the break here. It's getting louder here at the United Center.
please notify any one of the events.
I haven't been to a game in the UC in maybe like 14 months, 15 months. Went to the Elimination Chamber here, though. Like, not even a couple of weeks ago. But it's loud. We're going to have a lot of ambient sounds there. I'm really not. I was worried. Wanted my own separate booth before. Because I didn't want to bother anybody, but I think this place is so loud where it's like it does not matter if I bother anybody or not. I'm also pretty high up here and nobody can see me. I think they got the Big Ten panel over there. Rafael Davis is wearing a pink suit right now. Dude looks phenomenal. Stud.
For many, many years to come.
A lot of stuff in this trip that's going to impact people and maybe touch them in certain ways. So really being open to learn and open to new experiences.
It was very informative for me because it's very cool to have people tell their story, to educate us, and also tell us to different ways and also have
This trip made me think about what I haven't seen, read, heard before. All the things I'm working for me. And the reality of what progress looks like. I just thought it was a great opportunity to learn more about my culture, you know.
No, I'm not going to say the F word. Poof. Get out of here. Chance goes, if you see Camilla Cardozo, please ask.
I need your help.
Here we go.
I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt, live and rolling here on 1620 The Zone, a special edition of Middays with Matt from the United Center at the Big Ten Tournament. Matt McMaster is always joined by Josh Odson at the UC. We want to thank our sponsors for sending me out here to the United Center at the Big Ten Tournament. Early bird, best in the business. Josh Odson, how are you?
Doing great. Friday, the vibes are good, my friend.
Vibes are high. The vibes are absolutely immaculate here at the United Center. We're at the Madhouse on Madison. There used to be, so right where I'm sitting right now, there's this little wall, right? And behind this wall used to have the letters "Welcome to the Madhouse." The Madhouse, something like, you know. It was
I remember that from the Blackhawks title years.
And they've since took that down, which I'm not a fan of whatsoever. But it's very cool to be up here at the hockey press box. There's a lot of student radio here, by the way. I want to shout out the Big Ten because I ran into the Michigan play-by-play guy earlier. He had no idea where he was going in terms of navigating the United Center. I helped him. Okay. Good guy, Matt, over here. Even though I hate Michigan, I told Tony, I go, hey, you're going that way. He's like, where's the court? I was acting like Shawn Michaels. I go, you're going that way. You're going that way, Tom. Right there. Yeah, you're going that way. Look at my pit stands. Crazy stuff over here. But, no, made my way up here. I wanted to get in the hockey booth. They wouldn't let me in the hockey booth, so instead I'm just in the general media area. And we're 32 minutes away from tip, and I think there's like 1,000 people in their seats. There's absolutely nobody here. For the people who are here, it's all yellow. Michigan is going to absolutely dominate this day in terms of attendance in session one, without a doubt. Illinois is going to get a pretty decent showing. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if there's more yellow than orange here today. I got a feeling that the Wolverine fans are going to come out in droves. Last time that Illinois was here, and that's another thing too, Illinois has already played at the United Center this season. They actually played Alabama. Alabama beat them here early on in the year. Probably one of Alabama's definitely one of their better wins of the season. And so there's the whole mystique of like Illinois at the United Center has kind of worn off just a little bit because they've already played at the UC this year. And, you know, they're a 4 seed compared to Michigan being a 1. But if I had to put a bold, not a bold prediction here, Michigan is gonna pack this place. Really curious though how it's going to be for Nebraska. How many fans the Cornhuskers are gonna get today. obviously a very good base of Nebraska Cornhusker alumni here in Chicago. It's a really, really good base of Nebraska alumni here. I am curious, though, does the prospect of saving up your money to go to the Big Ten tournament game, because there's the aura and mystique of them winning their first game here, does that potentially lower some of the attendance that maybe you've expected at the Big Ten tournament for Nebraska fans? Or does it just not matter? And it probably may not matter, because the Nebraska Cornhusker fans are some of the best in the country. So, and also, too, how often is Nebraska basketball a legitimate contender in the Big Ten tournament, despite the fact they are underdogs today against Purdue? At least they opened up as underdogs last night against the Boilermakers. So we are going to be broadcasting today during the Big Ten tournament. So we'll definitely be talking about the tournament in its entirety today. Also, going to be watching a pretty big game, if I'm going to be honest with you, between Michigan and Ohio State. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, Michigan, best team in the country, first or second best team in the country, in my opinion, one of the favorites to win the national championship. I do want to mention this. 2020s, in this, I guess, decade, every Big Ten tournament championship has had a team that was a non-Friday team. So every team, not every tournament championship game has been Friday versus Friday. There's been Thursday teams that make it to the championship game. So I would not be surprised at all if we have one or two upsets or lower seeds defeating higher seeds today. This game, Ohio State, one of the best scorers in the country, in Bruce Thornton. I'm very excited to see Bruce Thornton play Josh Hudson, because Bruce Thornton is your prototypical great college basketball player that probably won't have a very long NBA career. So this is going to be kind of one of the final times in Thornton's career where he's on a really big stage, where he is on hey, this is a big game, and you're going to be on national television, linear television, as Connor Happer would call it. Definitely one of the best Ohio State Buckeye players of all time. And then you got, a really talented Ohio State team, which, by the way, very quietly, the Ohio State Buckeyes have won 5 of their last 7 games, including a win yesterday against Iowa that has basically locked them in the NCAA tournament. We have United Center Happer currently talking to the United Center right now. I'm going to tell you right now, Happer's better than this guy. This guy's kind of a dork.
Okay, there's a few different ways you can do the in-house MC, right? There's the hip, cool, like Dwayne style.
He's trying to be hip and cool
style.
He's trying to be hip and cool, and it's not working. I'm not hipped or cooled out by this guy. His hair's too long. It's too curly. He's clean shaven. He looks like a baby. He's trying to do some slang right now. I'm not a fan of United Center Happer.
Okay.
I need a burly guy, like a strong-looking man like Connor Happer to be my MC. Or I need you to be overly cool like Dwayne. I need one or the other. I need a strong, burly man, or I want to be I want to be you. You got style. This guy is neither.
I don't think people in this state realize how blessed they are at the in-house MC position.
I literally could not agree more. You go to professional towns, and it's you're really? After going from Nebraska, seeing Happer, and Happer does I'm not kissing his ass. Happer does a great job at the Blue Jays.
We don't have to. I'm his boss.
He is the Blue Jays are blessed to have Connor Happer. And when he goes to Warner Park, and I've been to a Storm Chasers game where Happer does do it, I've been to a Storm Chasers game where Happer doesn't do it, the vibe is different. So you go to Nebraska and you experience Dwayne, you experience Happer, and then you go to a Hawks game and you're like, these guys are dweebs. These guys don't know what they're doing. Big Ten Happer, not good. Not good. Not a fan early on. I am a fan, though, of this game between Ohio State and Michigan. Should be a good one. Everyone will have their eyes on the top transfer portal target for Nebraska basketball. Have you been following Twitter and all the people who want Amari Bynum to transfer to Nebraska? Have you seen this? He's an Ohio State basketball
I've not
player.
seen that.
He's a freshman from Omaha who plays for Ohio State that literally since January. People are like, he needs to be a Cornhusker. He needs to be a Cornhusker. He needs to be a Cornhusker. So should be a good – I really think this will be a good game between Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State's won 5 of their last 7 games. Yesterday against Iowa, Thornton had 24. John Mobley Jr. had 12, and then Bynum had 11. So it should be a fun one. Tips off in 26 minutes. Still, I think there's like 3,000 people in the stands right now. So we will see. I love the stadium. I love this. I love the United Center. I love Chicago. I think this event is done better in Indianapolis. That's just my opinion. I just think there's something about this tourney being an Indy. And the UC might be a little bit too big. I don't know. I just don't get the same. Seth Davis saying that this tournament was better than the Big East tournament was one of the dumbest statements I've heard. Not even close.
It is Seth Davis says stupid things season.
The Big East tourney is heads and shoulders above the Big Ten tournament, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, there's parts of me sometimes that feels like, and this is just a vibe I get, that we're just doing this tournament because we have to do this tournament. You know? That we're just here because we're just kind of have to be here. But I do think the Big Ten regular season is one of the best regular seasons that we have year in and year out in college basketball. I think there's a give and take there. This tournament, though, ton of fun. This is going to be a ton of fun. Ohio State, Michigan about to tip off. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the tournament. We're going to talk about Nebraska versus Purdue. Brian Christopherson is in Chicago. I don't know if Brian Christopherson is here as a media member or as somebody who just wants to be in Chicago to watch the Big Ten tourney. We will talk to him at some point between 11:30 and 12. Brian has told me he will contact us. I will be the first to know. I will relay that to my great producer Josh Hodson, and we will get BC here on the show at 1 o'clock. We'll be joined by Austin Jacobson. He is currently in Lincoln at the Boys State High School tournament. We'll talk to Austin about that. We will talk about the Big 12. Keep it simple, stupid. Going back to the classics. No more LED, television, glass, court, hickory, and hardwood for the Big 12. We have some takes on that. It was dumb, but I give them credit. I give the Big 12 a little credit. We'll talk about that later. The NFL free agency, the dust has kind of settled a little bit after the first couple days of the legal tampering period, which then led into the formal opening of the NFL free agency window, which started on Wednesday. We'll talk about teams that won. We'll talk about teams that lost. We'll talk about players that won, players that lost. How did the NFL odds shift? I went ahead and did some research. I found our way too early post-Super Bowl odds that were released and now the current odds that are released, so we can go ahead and look at who had the best seasons in the NFL. We'll talk about planes, trains, and automobiles as well, and whether or not some teams are going to – no, some teams are going to have to take a commercial flight to the NCAA tournament. Potentially. I'm not a fan. I'll tell you why. We'll talk about that. We're going to have to talk about the Blue Jays as well, as their season ended yesterday. We are the home of the Jays, and I am the host of Blue Jay Overtime, so it's only right that we talk about Greg McDermott and his crew. Odd news at 11:45, and then This Week in Women's History at 12:45, which will lead into Austin Jacobson at 1. Don't forget, if you want to reach out to us today, 402-951-1620 is the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Don't forget to email us at the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally, and they pick up on the first ring. And we want to shout out on the Zone Twitter feed, our sponsor, Liquid Trucking. The Zone Twitter feed brought to you by Liquid Trucking, who gave your boy a follow. I just got a follow from Liquid Trucking. You should go ahead and follow Liquid Trucking, baby. They'll follow you back at Matt McMedia, at Producer Josh on Twitter. If you want to tweet at us and tell us how stupid we are. Don't forget on the text line as well, 402-951-1620. I will be here in the YouTube chat. I'm not turning off my microphone during the breaks. So if you want to hop in the YouTube chat, maybe not get a fully unfiltered Matt, but maybe not as filtered of a Matt during our breaks, go ahead, ask me some questions. Go ahead, let's talk. Let's have a good time. 21 minutes from tip-off here at the United Center, the 13th most famous arena in the world. Is that where we're going to But that we probably should have done a power rankings of famous arenas. I can think of one that's for sure more popular. I can think of plenty that are way better. I do like the UC, but
13 feels right.
The Tokyo
Close.
Dome has got to be 2, right?
Yeah. Well, Staples.
Well,
what do they call it now?
They call it Crypto.com Arena.
That's right.
I don't think the Intuit Dome has taken over the United Center yet in terms of popularity. It's getting there, though. Like
It's a hot new thing.
We're getting there. Like SoFi Stadium is now like a staple. Like it's now kind of past it being new, and now we've just done so many things there where it's like like here's a stadium that is getting up there in terms of like historic events and like big things happen. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Atlanta is
affordable.
Had a lot of national championships there, a lot of SEC championships there, a lot of important things in college football have happened at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're now kind of in the era, not in the era, but like a lot of these newer stadiums that were all shiny and brand new still are very, very much like really, really good. But they've now hosted so many big time events where it's like they're creating a legacy, if you will, of like, oh, big things happen there. We're gonna have are we having the Super Bowl in SoFi again next season? Is that happening again?
Yes, I believe so.
I think it's an Eagle one next year. So here we go. Our Roll Damn Jace fan 1 goes, does the Tokyo Dome have a Toyota club level? Get a little Lexus Club. God, I missed the Lexus Club. I didn't go there once this entire season. That buffet. So good. We don't have enough buffets anymore. Josh Hodson. Do you know what we have plenty of though? NCAA tournament teams. We have plenty of NCAA tournament teams. Do not add more teams to the NCAA tournament. That would be one of the stupidest things we've ever done. I'll tell you some of the things that happened yesterday and that could happen today that will affect the NCAA tournament. We are just a couple days away from one of the best days of Sports Selection Sunday. We'll talk about that all next here on Middays with Matt, live from the United Center, brought to you by Early Bird.
AI is changing our world. In the hardcore industries that service, power, and protect our planet.
Where does Ralston Arena rank? I don't know. I haven't been to Ralston Arena. I like, though, Ralston Kino, though. And they got Dumpling Empire over there in Ralston. If they expand 128 teams, Miami, Ohio gets in. Yeah, probably, right? If you look at the net ranking. Hey, Kraton might get in if they did 128 teams. Maybe right on the bubble for Kraton. They did 128 teams. All right, let's go here. Forgot my notepad today. I'm a pen and paper man with no pen and paper. I feel like I'm naked. That's big. Oh, if I'm Nebraska, I would not mind being BC and playing Louisville. That's a take. They lost yesterday. Ugh. Kevin goes, I love that. Yeah, it's a koozie cover. It makes it so, I don't know, like it's a little more poppy when I talk into it like this. So I covered up with the koozie, and then that way I put this on, and then it's a little bit more cleaner, and it muffs it down a little bit. So I don't pop as much. But if I just put the muff on without the koozie, it doesn't have the same effect that I want. Real damn Jason. I don't know. I like them both. I like both of those casinos. I definitely do think, though, that Prairie Flower Casino's bar and grill is elite. Elite bar and grill over there. And I don't just say that because they sponsor us. It actually is. And they're good, really good people over there at the Prairie Fire Casino Bar and Grill. Like one time Schaefer and I went, they treated us so well. So they'll always have my stamp of approval. What do we think the game of the day is, chat? Probably Iowa State, Arizona. I do like that's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I think the most interesting one though is Wisconsin, Illinois. Wisconsin team is playing really good basketball, and Illinois has had a lot of. Yeah. See, Nathan, I totally agree with you. USA Candy. I will talk about the WBC at some point. Probably toss that over to Josh Hodson. Let him do that. I don't think Josh knows that I'm gonna make him talk about the WBC, but he's going to do it. See on Twitter. Anything happen on Twitter? Anything break down recently? Let's see here. Oh, we got to talk about Oklahoma. Another big win yesterday. I don't know. Porter Moser might end up saving his job, which is good for him. I like Porter. Good guy. At least in my experience. Yeah, Florida, Kentucky. That's an interesting matchup.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so we have the map commercial going on right now. United Center big board. I want to live forever on a boat out in the sea. I want to tell the silver lining. See, I still got it.
Is it getting a huge pop?
It's no, it got no pop. Right now, though, I'll say if we're doing a battle of the bands, Michigan is handing Ohio State their lunch right now. Like they are
the best damn band in the land. Might not be the best damn band in the land.
Dude, Michigan is serving it up right now against the Ohio State band. But the Ohio State band's percussion unit, pretty solid. Like these guys are drumming. These guys are drumming. So let's see. I'm looking across the crowd here at the United Center Big Ten tourney. Thank you to Early Bird for sending Middays with Matt out here to give you some live coverage at the TIAA Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament 2026 Chicago. Good showing right there from the Ohio State band. Michigan band about to respond. You're probably going to hear it over ambient noise here. This stadium is so loud. This arena is so loud. It's just everything bounces off everywhere. But currently, Michigan fans rolling in. I'm trying to see if I see any good jerseys around. If there's any good ball knower jerseys here that we could find. But currently, just right now, a lot of yellow. Some Illinois having some representation, and just not a whole lot of Ohio State fans currently here right now. So we will see. I'm curious as to how many Wisconsin Badger fans show up today. I am curious about that. How much representation do they get? Because Wisconsin Badger fans just seem like they're just always disappointed with their basketball team, even though they're pretty solid. So we will be live here from the United Center for the entirety of the show.
They really care about it. They really care about it.
Who cares about it? Who cares about what? Did you hear me? Who you said they Wisconsin fans? Oh,
Wisconsin basketball fans.
I thought you were talking about the Big Ten tournament and the Big Ten caring about their tournament, which I was about to kind of disagree with you. I don't really think they care all that much. But anyway, a lot of tournaments going on across the country here in college basketball. There's a couple really intriguing games. I do think that we're kind of at the point where, in terms of NCAA seeding, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, okay, so Iowa State is going to play Arizona today. Iowa State is ranked as a 3 seed according to Bracket Matrix. Michigan State is a 2 seed according to Bracket Matrix. So is Illinois. If Illinois and Michigan State lose today and Iowa State beats Arizona, does the committee go ahead and put Iowa State ahead of a Michigan State or Illinois because of this one game? I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes either way. That is probably, Josh, the only one I really identified amongst the top seeds where it could matter. Oh, we're doing national anthem.
The only time where there could be a flip is if like an Iowa State goes on a run, and I'll talk for the next couple minutes here, Matt, out of respect. The Big 12 tournament, one of those teams goes on a bit of a run. Somebody takes the weekend off, so to speak. We've seen it before where a team could be in line for like a 2 seed. Ones are probably set. It's that 2, 3, 4 line where you could see a little fluctuation. I think we'll probably pencil those in today, tomorrow, and then it's not like anybody goes on a run at the Big Ten tournament this weekend, then we have to put them in. Like pretty much everybody's in, everybody's out, unless you're like undefeated and don't win your quarterfinal round of your tournament. And that could be something.
Perfectly said there. So look, I'm great take by you, because I was looking at like the schedule today across the country. That Arizona Iowa State game was the only one where I thought, okay, like you could make an argument here that if Michigan State loses to UCLA, away from home, it seems like UCLA is awesome at home but terrible on the road. If they go ahead and they lose to UCLA and Iowa State looks great against Arizona and wins that game of the Big 12 tournament, maybe you change that. At this point, though, unless you're a bubble team, I really think you're kind of locked. Like, I don't think Houston's loss today potentially against Kansas is going to move them out of the 2 seed. Connecticut, UConn might have suffered because they lost to Marquette, and if they had lost yesterday, then maybe they could have moved to a 3. I don't think that's happening. Like that didn't occur today. They won their game yesterday. They're playing in the next round of the Big East. I just don't think, like, a lot of people are trying to do the math of like, can Nebraska end up getting a 2nd seed? I don't know. Like, as it kind of stands right now, I don't know if 2 quad 1 wins are really going to do it, unless Michigan State really craps the bed tonight against UCLA. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see. I mean, is there a potential maybe of Nebraska beating Purdue and then beating Michigan State? But if Michigan State doesn't lose to UCLA, I don't know. I just think at this point we're kind of set. I do think, though, if Iowa State looks good tonight against Arizona, that might do enough to push them up to the next seed line. But we will see. I mean, I think that these tournaments have way more to do about the bubbles and locking yourself into the bubbles and locking yourself in like a 9 seed or an 8 seed or a 10 seed. Like, I think Ohio State's win yesterday against Iowa was big for them because it locked them in as a 9. I think that Iowa, they were kind of locked in regardless if they won that game or not, but it was a big one for Ohio State. I think Oklahoma's been playing some really good basketball after losing 9 games in a row in the SEC, conference play. They have a big one today against Arkansas, who I think Arkansas has a legitimate shot at winning the SEC tournament. I've liked how they've played as of late, and I've told you before, I do like Arkansas as a team that could potentially go to the Final Four. So if they were to beat a team like Arkansas today in the SEC tournament, Oklahoma, which very much is on the bubble, probably out more so than in Oklahoma, in my opinion. But if they were to win today, man, like, this bubble is super weak, where it really just takes another Q1 win or 2 to get yourself in if you're kind of teetering on that line. And they got helped out by Tim Miles, of all people. San Jose State ended up beating Boise State. That was another really big bubble defeat that happened there. And so, Indiana losing. We'll see what happens with other teams that are across the bubble. But I think at this point, the team that I would definitely circle as, okay, hey, like, this is one, if they get on a run, can maybe play themselves into the tournament, is Oklahoma. Outside of that, this is going to be a fun tournament as kind of a primer to see where we might be at for the NCAA tournament. But, like, I don't know how much shaking and moving there's going to be. Auburn had a prime opportunity yesterday to get themselves another quad 1 win and actually make the committee sweat it out. They lost that game, So at this point, I think the Sooners are kind of the team you look at and you say, okay, they can beat Arkansas and they can make a run in the SEC tournament. Maybe they played themselves into the tourney through the SEC tournament without having to win it. I think that Iowa State game is going to be massive for seeding, potentially, depending on what Michigan State and Illinois does. That Illinois-Wisconsin game, man, I'll just say this. We have some flamethrowers here in this Big Ten tournament today. You're going to have John Blackwell and Nick Boyd taking on Keaton Wagler. Like, that is going to be fireworks from the get-go. That is going to be a high-scoring basketball game. You're going to have Bruce Thornton try and will Ohio State in 6 minutes right now against one of the best teams in the country in Michigan. I think Nebraska-Purdue, we're going to talk about that game next fully in depth. That game's going to be a war. Nebraska-Purdue tonight is going to be a war. I think that a lot of the things that Nebraska did against Iowa are going to be some of the things that they're going to do tonight against Purdue. It's just you have to kind of hope for one guy not to go nuclear, and it's not the guy that you think. But it'd also be an interesting matchup, too. I saw this in the chat. Donovan Denton yesterday, the first ever triple-double in Big Ten tournament history, 12, 12, and 10. Really impressive stuff, albeit against Rutgers. UCLA, once again, this is a team that is one of the best home teams in the country. They haven't really been able to get it done anywhere outside of Western time zones. But they beat Michigan State today. That's a team that after Villanova lost yesterday in the Big East tournament against Georgetown, does UCLA get up to a 7? Potentially unlikely, but still, that would be a team who defeated Nebraska, defeated Rutgers, and then defeated potentially Michigan State heading into the NCAA tournament. Is that a team that still, that finds their rhythm clicking into the big dance? So a lot of interesting storylines today in the Big 12 tournament, in the SEC tournament, in the Big 10 tournament. We are so happy to be here at the United Center at the Big 10 tournament. We want to thank Early Bird for sending us out here. Middays with Matt going to be rolling live. Don't forget, if you're in the YouTube chat, I'm not muting my microphone, so I will have a good time talking to you guys during our breaks. Coming up next, we talk about Nebraska versus Purdue here on 1627. PC goes, still time to grab UCLA 51, Matt. I don't know. If they beat Michigan State tonight, I mean, that's the one thing. It's like you go ahead and you look at some of those statistics. There's a great – I hate it when I do this, PC, where I go ahead and I see a great tweet and I don't bookmark it. There's this great tweet that was showing, like, teams' percentages compared to, like, at road or on the road and at home, like win percentages – road and home percentage splits. And essentially, like, the average is teams are 27% better at home than they are on the road. That's like the NCAA average. And so Nebraska was actually they were only 15% better at home than they were on the road, which means that they play pretty well on the road, which is an advantage for them. UCLA, according to that stat, was like 7% on the road, which is absolutely insane. If they're able to win, beat Michigan State tonight and get themselves rolling into the tournament, I mean, I don't know. They might be worth a little sprinkle. There are not enough people here at this game. It's 11 a.m. on a Friday, so, a lot of people have work. But, I mean, God bless it. Wrigley Field is, like, crowded at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, so... Let's see here. Jordan goes, do they have Matt in the same room as they throw the drunk Blackhawks fans? No, they don't. I'm not in the sin bin right now. I wanted to be in the Blackhawks booth, but they wouldn't let me. That would have been sick. I'm just in I'm on the highest part of the general press area right now. Let's go get my affairs in order here. Talk about this Nebraska basketball game versus Purdue. I don't know. For those who are in the know, Stat Broadcast is like the stat website that basically all these power conference schools use, and I didn't know it existed until I went to Nebraska, and I can't imagine living without it. It is one of the greatest stat apparatuses I've ever seen. Oh, Dork Happer is on the screen now. Not here. That's because all Cubs fans are rich and don't need to work that. I mean, not all of them. Good amount of them, though. I think it's really funny. There have been multiple people who've walked up here onto this level, and they see me talking to a microphone, and they go, I don't want to sit next to that guy. Jack Mitchell just found out about Scat Broadcaster in the UCLA game. Dude, that's crazy. Jack should know. Do I have a favorite pizza spot? Probably Due's. Due's is pretty good. Here's Village Inn in Skokie that I always like growing up. Martino's. Oh, probably Joe's Pizza on Higgins. Joe's Pizza on Higgins.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Broadcasting live here from the United Center. Matt McMath on 1620 The Zone. This is a special broadcast from the UC at the Big Ten Tournament is brought to you our friends at Early Bird. Early Bird, the best in the business, putting us out here at the B1G Tourney. We are currently having our hype tape right now before we go ahead and tip off between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Dorky Happer just got on the United Center scoreboard and said, where are my Michigan fans at? Where are my Ohio State fans at? Yeah, Dorky Happer. That's what I'm calling the MC guy, Dorky Happer.
Oh, Dorky Happer. Okay.
Yeah, what did I say?
Dorothy Happer. I was no. Connor's mom is on the big screen there? Whoa.
I think Connor's mom would do a better job at being the MC than this guy.
Wow.
This guy is not good.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm very critical. I'm a broadcaster with high broadcasting standards, okay? Sure. And I know a lot of people hold me to those standards, all right? So be one of those. See, PC's like, I heard Dorothy. I don't know, Dorky. Do I say that wrong? It sounds like Dorothy.
They sound very similar when you have that ambient noise behind you. It's fine.
Do you know teams that aren't similar? I guess they kind of are a little similar in the way that they're made up in a way. They do play the game very differently. But anyway, Purdue and Nebraska are going to play at 5:30 today in this very arena, this very house that part of Michael Jordan's career built. This place was built in 1994, so it only saw 3 of Michael Jordan's 6 championships here. A little fun fact for you. By the way, they announced last year that the United Center, they're having a $7 billion developmental project that's going to be happening here over the next couple of years. They're essentially going to like create what they have in Wrigley, but at the UC, where it's like you have a lot of hotels and restaurants and bars and parks and stuff like that. That you can hang out around. It's really big. So I was on the Connor Happer, I was about to say called the Connor Happer show. I was on Happer and Schaefer this morning, and it's because I did the interview walking around the United Center because I couldn't get inside. I showed up a little too early. You know, look at me, Matt McMaster. Always, if you're not a half hour early, you're late. And I couldn't find a place to like sit down and like be in an area and do the interview. So I was walking around outside. I was doing the interview on my phone. It was very windy outside. But I'm saying all this to tell you that the United Center, it's kind of known that there's not a whole lot of things to do outside the UC. And you really shouldn't walk around this area all that often, especially at night. Not the greatest area to be in. So that's actually a big tip. You want to get out of here. Also, too, if you are going to be at the night games, so if you're going to be at the Nebraska game, if you're going to be maybe going to stay after at the Michigan State UCLA game, I suggest that if you're going to take an Uber, you got to get out right away. Like, don't stay around. Don't, sing the alma mater song. Don't do any of that. Get out of here. Because if you don't get to that Uber tent and you're not one of the first people out, you're going to be waiting a long time at the UC. I've been caught in that storm so many times, not a storm you want to be caught in. But anyway, the game 1 of the Big Ten tournament here at the United Center about to kick off between the Michigan Wolverines and the Ohio State Buckeyes. So the arena kind of full, kind of. Yeah, I would. If I had to guess, this place seats 20,000 people. I would say that it's probably around 8,000, 9,000 right now. Definitely a lot more orange outside of a lot of yellow. A lot of Michigan fans here. I thought there would definitely be more Michigan fans. Granted, I only could see one side. I can't see the other side. But they're about to tip off here at the UC. A game tipping off at the UC at 5:30 today will be the Purdue Boilermakers taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This game took place about a month ago, a little bit over a month ago between these two sides. Purdue ended up winning that game in overtime, 80-77. Purdue controlled that game for a majority of it. They were up over 20 points at one point, but a great comeback against Nebraska forced this game to OT. They were one rink-masked free throw away from actually winning a game where they started off down 13, a 14-1 run by Purdue to kick this one off. So let's. I want to harken back to the Iowa game, because I think it's very important to talk about the Iowa game in regards to talk about this Purdue game. And here's why. Because Purdue and Iowa defeated Nebraska in very similar fashions to end the month of February, okay? When Nebraska played Iowa, they got dominated on the boards in Iowa City. That was a big deal. That was a big reason why they ended up losing that game. I mean, the Hawkeyes killed the Huskers in second chance points. And so when they played Iowa again just last Sunday, that didn't happen. Nebraska did a really good job of cleaning up the defensive boards. It was 7-5 offensive boards in favor of the Hawkeyes, and they were able to limit some second chance points as well. And that was a big key. Like, if Nebraska had cleaned up the defensive boards against Iowa the first go around, they would have ended up winning that game. And I think you could say the same thing about this Purdue game. When Nebraska played Purdue, Purdue had 21 offensive rebounds, 17 second chance points. Purdue out-rebounded Nebraska 54-37, and they took 18 more shots than the Cornhuskers. So, obviously the key to this game, if you're comparing it to the last time these two teams played, is you got to clean up those boards. Now, the reason why I really want to hone in, though, on the Iowa game that happened last Sunday is that Nebraska really hunkered down the paint. I mean, there were multiple times where they had three different players in the paint, making sure that they're cleaning the offensive boards. But I think Ben McCollum and his side did a really good job at finding open shots throughout the game. Iowa, I don't think, gets enough credit for the quality of shot that they got 40 minutes throughout the entirety of that contest. And for a good portion of that game, they just missed. I mean, they just missed a lot of shots, especially early on. And when they started making those shots is when they made their comeback in the second half. That led to that game going in overtime. So I do worry with, you got Fletcher Lawyer out there, you got Braden Smith out there. Like, it's going to be difficult for Nebraska to kind of pack that paint like they did against Iowa to stop the offensive rebounds from happening without allowing Purdue to take and knock down shots. And I think you're probably more privy and more advantageous in doing that against Iowa as opposed to Purdue. It's funny, Josh. I said before the break, or before we got into the segment heading into the break, my tease was, I'm worried about one guy going off, and it's not Braden Smith and it's not Fletcher Lawyer. And the reason why I'm going to say this name is because he did it against Northwestern. And it's a guy that he's not necessarily, I don't even think he's probably like the fifth best player on this Purdue team. He's not one of the top guys to think of, but his name is CJ Cox. And he had 5 3-pointers against Northwestern, basically all open shots. He had 3 3-pointers against Ohio State, 2 3-pointers he had against Michigan State. And he's shooting currently right now 38% from the 3-point line. It's a guy that if you're going to leave him wide open, he can make you pay. And so if they go ahead and they try and pack down this paint and, they run Lawyer off the 3-point line, I worry about a guy like Cox just having, it's the CJ Cox game, like that could definitely be a reality if they try and use the same strategy against Iowa as they do against Purdue. I think what it just comes down to is Rink Mask and Burke Buxengel have to play some of their best defensive games. Trey Kaufman-Wren had 19 total rebounds against Nebraska the first time that they played. Oscar Clough, who I can't stand. I cannot stand him. He's not on the dead to us list because he didn't do anything other than just kill all the teams that I very much enjoy watching play basketball. Like, it's not his fault that he's awesome at the game and he does what he does. He's just so annoying. He's 6'11", former South Dakota State Jackrabbit, just moves his weight around, very physical, and it's part of the reason why that, they are this Purdue team. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They're averaging 10 offensive rebounds per game. That's 82nd in the country. Their offensive rebound percentage is 35%. That's 22nd in the country. Opponents aren't getting a lot of offensive rebounds, only 7.4 per game. That's 24th in the country. So Bear K and Rick Mass have to handle their own more than anything. It's curious. It was really funny. I remember Fred saying after the game in terms of the rebounding issues that they had, making first contact. We got it to induce first contact. We have to be super physical. We have to kind of throw our elbows at them, throw our shoulders at them, make them feel us. I wonder if Matt Painter goes, counters the counter and says, all right, you hit them. You make sure they don't get first contact. You get first contact. So I think that'll be a big key of the game. Also, too, and I'm stealing this line from Coach Mack, and it's something that he said throughout the season as the Kraton Blue Jays took on some of the better guards in the Big East. But, Braden Smith is the type of guy where you're just not going to shut him down. Like the idea of we're gonna put this specific guy on him, or we're gonna bracket him in this way, or we're gonna be super aggressive on pick and rolls and hedge and really try and force a double team. Like, none of that is. He's too good and he's played too long and he's seen too much of it for that to overly affect him. I think the key is that don't let him be both a scorer and a playmaker. I think that's what it really boils down to. I think you can live with Braden Smith having 20-plus points as long as he doesn't have 10 assists, right? I think you can live with Braden Smith having 12 assists just as long as he doesn't score 25 points and has, 4 made three-pointers in that. If you can limit him to affecting the game in one way, you can win. Not a lot of teams are going to beat Purdue if Braden Smith has a night where he's, has 21 points and 9 assists. That's just not going to happen. So I think that this Purdue team, with their physicality down low, poses problems for Nebraska, where you kind of have to choose the lesser of two evils. I think the lesser of two evils is just don't allow them to shoot 18 more shots than you do. I think that's just kind of what it boils down to more than anything. And so it'll be interesting to see. I'd be really worried if Purdue gets hot right away. And I've said this before, and I don't know if Sith is in the chat here, and he hates when I say this, but the low-hanging fruit, and it's low-hanging fruit for a reason because it's obvious and it's out there. You can't start the game on a 14-1 run. You can't. That's just not something that you can do. And I'll say this.
About that. That did happen.
I'll say this, Josh, though. This is an important – sometimes winning clouds things up. I think we saw throughout the season that this Nebraska team could have some issues, but they were winning, and so we didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it, or we didn't want to fully acknowledge it. And when you go 20-0, you don't want to be that guy that points out those little things. And so I'll say this, yes, they beat Iowa. That happened. That occurred. It was a win that needed to happen, and they got it done. It still doesn't remove the fact that more times than not over these last couple of weeks, this team has not started the game well, okay? And so, they beat Iowa and they win, and you're like, hell yeah, what a win to end the year. You still have to kind of acknowledge the fact, though, that they only scored 15 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. They still got they scored 7 points in the first 6 minutes of the game, right? It took them a little bit to get going against Iowa once again. It just Iowa couldn't capitalize on it, right? And this is the conversation we had about Maryland, about Penn State. They did not start well in those games, but we didn't really talk about it because they won those games, and Maryland and Penn State were so bad they couldn't take advantage. Iowa did not start the game shooting well. I wonder how much different the game might be if Iowa did get off to a better start and maybe shot more like they did at the end of the game as they did at the beginning of the game. Because like I said, 6 minutes of play, Nebraska once again only scored 7 points. So they've got to play better to start the game again tonight. And to me, even though they did beat Iowa, that's still an issue they have. That's still a problem we have to monitor. That's still something that they need to fix. So overall, though, like I think this game is going to be a war. I think that Nebraska is too talented or just has too many. At this point, Nebraska, like, they played, 31 games? Like, you cannot deny the fact that they just have some offensive weapons, and they got a lot of them. Rink is an offensive weapon. Price is an offensive weapon. When he's, hitting the mark, Braden Frager is an offensive weapon. Obviously, it was a great question by Mike. It was a great question by Mike during our interview today on the morning show. He goes, what do you want to see? What is something that, like, regardless of result, regardless of what Nebraska does, do you want to see? And I go, I need to see Braden Frager get a swagger back because, we joked about in the crossover about the whole, the body language doctors on Twitter and, the whole, he's sitting away from the bench and his head is down. This is, this is indications that he's going to transfer. And oh my God, like, here's what I saw on the court. I saw a guy who looked a little bit slower than what we saw at the beginning of the year. I saw Bennett Skirts do a great defensive job on Braden Frager. I saw a guy who just seemed a little hesitant. He just didn't seem like he's not nearly the guy that maybe we saw earlier in the year. And if Nebraska is going to reach, we have to establish this. People sometimes confuse ceiling to expectation. Ceiling is not expectation. Ceiling is the absolute best that you can do. And when we were having the ceiling conversation of Nebraska going to the Final Four, it was when Braden Frager was playing his best basketball. And so if they're going to make it to the second weekend and they're going to, make a big impact in this tournament like they've proven they can do this season, it's going to start with number 5. And so, the ceiling to me is Elite 8. The expectation is win the first game and go from there. And there's definitely some 6 seeds that I look at and I say, I don't want to play them. And there's some 6 seeds that I look at and say, I wouldn't mind playing Louisville. I would not mind playing Louisville. Lost Clemson yesterday.
One in the bracket I've seen that I'm like, yeah, that could probably play out favorably.
Yeah, I don't mind playing BYU. I don't. They don't have their second best player. Granted, BYU's still a good team. They still got A.J. Dybanska. They still got the best player on the court, basically every single day of the week outside of when they play Arkansas, in my opinion. Like, that's a team that I'm less scared of. I don't want, and they're mocked to be a 5. I don't want anything to do with St. John's. I want nothing. I want nothing to do with St. John's. If Nebraska could somehow avoid, if St. John's can just hold serve, win the Big East tournament, be a 5, Nebraska completely avoids them, that would be great. Kentucky, Florida is interesting because we talked about some games that maybe you get bumped up a seed line if you're kind of on that border. Kentucky beats Florida today. Maybe they get bumped up to a 6, and that's a big physical athletic team that maybe I wouldn't really want Nebraska to play. So, like I said, it's all about matchups in the NCAA tournament. Jimmy's making some good comments here. He goes, Frager ain't playing like he did early on, Matt. Mask hasn't been the scorer he was. I wouldn't claim any of that. I think, Jimmy, my statements were more so pointed towards what we've seen and not what currently is. On any given night, I think Brink Mask could make 3 threes and have a 22-point game. That's in him. I think on any given night, Braden Frager can go off for 17 points off the bench and, slash his way to the hoop and make a couple of threes. Like, I think that can occur. Now, from a consistency standpoint, I think Rink is starting to pick it up just a little bit more, but I mean, it's Price. And we've seen this, guys. Like, if Price Sanford is not playing his best basketball, this team, I mean, currently with how everybody's kind of playing, especially Jamarcus Lawrence and the rough stretch that he had been on, if Price isn't being Price, then then this is a wrap. But we got to mention here, last 3 games from Rick Mask, he's had double-digit points. So it seems like he's finding a bit more of a groove. And I think with Rick, I know we fall in love with the three-point percentage and his ability to space out, but it starts and ends in the paint with Rick Mask. That baby hook is hidden, baby. That baby hook is hidden. Nebraska's always got a shot. So it should be a really good game. Really good game tonight between Purdue and Nebraska. We'll, touch on it a little bit more as we go throughout the show. But I think the number one thing is don't allow Braden Smith to be that dual threat playmaking scorer. If he's got 25 points and 9 assists tonight, it might be a wrap. And secondly, Berke and Rink and whoever else is tasked playing down in the paint tonight has got to be at their best. Here's an interesting little wrinkle before we hit a break here. Does Leo Curtis get minutes tonight? I know that was something that people were kind of asking about. Wow, you didn't give Leo any sort of run against Purdue after what I thought was a pretty impressive performance by him against Michigan a couple of games before. I think you got to give Leo a shot tonight. I think you put him out there and you see what happens. I'm not advocating and clamoring for that young man to get 10 to 15 minutes or anything like that or play 20 minutes. But I think that one of the mistakes that Fred made, and he hasn't made a ton of mistakes this year from rotation perspective, but one of the mistakes I think he definitely made in that Purdue game was he never gave him a look. Just give Leo a look because, you're going to need height and you're going to need rebounding. And, I think Leo is still definitely a guy who's growing into the player that he can become. He's still incredibly young and sometimes looks like a baby cold on ice. But his length and his height just around the basket definitely affect shots, even if he's not blocking them. So I'd like to see, I'm very curious, does Leo Curtis get a look tonight in the Purdue-Nebraska game? We'll touch on the game a little bit more as we go throughout the show. Brian Christopherson, I'm awaiting his text for him to tell me when he will be able to come on the show. We are on pins and needles to hear from BC. When I get that text, we'll hit a break right away, and then we'll talk to the guy from 247. Austin Jacobson coming up at 1 o'clock. Coming up next, the Big 12 is keeping it simple, stupid. Thank you. Thank the Lord. We talk about that next year on Middays with Matt. I see that. I think Michigan got off to I think it was 7-0 run or a 10-0 run. Bruce Thornton hit a nasty floater a little bit ago. Nice spin move. Look at that. Nope. All right, immediate timeout. I know, Travis. I know. I'm on a hot mic. That's the bit today, Travis. I'm talking to the chat. We're having a conversation. If you want me to answer your questions during the break, I'll answer some questions.
Congratulating this year's Big Ten Award winners from Michigan. Your Big Ten Coach of the Year is selected by Big Ten Media, Dusty May. Your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Adai Mara.
See, let's go back to the chat. Just reading an article. Ooh, great question, Alex. Favorite Chicago tourist trap? The Chicago Brick Oven pizza place. It's a long wait, and the pizza really isn't that good. It's probably closer to like lasagna than it is a real deep dish pizza. But I really do think, Alex, if you go to the Chicago Brick Oven pizza place, like the aura is worth it. Like you don't really dine at places like that anymore. So I think it's worth like eating there. It's not that great. I mean, don't go there thinking you're going to have great food, but I would go there for the experience. I think the experience is worth it. Jimmy says Wrigley Field. I disagree. I think like from a tourist perspective, Wrigley Field is great. Coming to somebody who's been over to like 150 games at Wrigley Field from like a Wrigley Field from a everyday going to a game perspective, definitely overrated. Smelly, small, too many court or too many like seats that like are obstructive view. It gets really hot, especially at 1 o'clock. Don't go to the bleachers at 1. There's a lot of flaws with it. Matt, any gentlemen? I thought you were actually looking for recommendations. PC at the United Circuit. Section 104, I think, is where Gibson Steakhouse, or 103 is where Gibson Steakhouse is. And then 109 is where the Goose Island Pub is. Those are your friends, 103 and 109. Giordano's is like section 119, 118, something like that. So let's see here. Hopefully we can get BC. Let's get a see. I don't think Josh Hodson is listening to this. Josh, not if you are. Are you listening? I don't think he is. Let me text Brian Christopherson. Should probably talk to Austin Jacobson too. Let's text to Austin. Let's see here. We should be coming out of the break in a little bit. Wilson Moore dropped the Cale Jacobson feature. Read that during the break. That'll be fun. Let's see. All right. We're going to have Brian Christopherson out at 12 o'clock. We good for 1. Let's go there. Let's go the. Kind of been out of sorts today. I didn't do my full routine. Typically, I wake up and I hit CBS. Then I go to The Athletic. Then I look at the headlines for ESPN. And then I go Husker Online and Omaha World Herald and whatever Brandon Vogel sent me. That's kind of my daily reading routine. And I just scroll Twitter. Willie just put a feature on Wilson Moore. Oh, Brent Wagner has a volleyball article. Okay, so they're going to Chadron State. Okay, we'll talk about that. That'll be a nice little out. Oh, we got to talk about the Supernovas at some point here. When the Skurs play, Chris asked, 5:30 today, my friend, Central Standard Time. Kamikaze KO. I haven't heard that one before. Yeah, J-Man, lower bowls, all 5 games next month, avoiding the pillars and the upper levels. Gotta avoid the pillars and the upper levels. You know, and then like also too, like when you're in the 200s, like back behind home plate, they have like the overhanging wall, which kind of cuts off like center field is annoying. But I went there. I was in those seats for Game 5 of College World Series. I was in that kind of 200 section behind home plate for Game 5 of the 2016 World Series.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, Josh Hodgson, you got to help me out here on pronunciations to avoid embarrassment. Do you know the arena and where Chadron State plays?
I do not. That's an Austin Jacobson question.
The Chacoin Center is kind of what I'm going to go with here. Anyway, okay. Nebraska volleyball spring tour is going to go to Chadron State University. That was my Jim Gruden impression. April 25th, it's a 1,700-seat arena. It's one of the best traditions that Nebraska volleyball does, where they go to smaller venues across Nebraska and the surrounding areas, obviously going to Iowa to Chadron State. So they will be going there for their spring game, 1,700-person arena. Over under 17 and a half minutes, we have a sellout. Want to go under? What if I put it at 8.5 minutes? That was a terrible line I initially said.
That feels
real.
Right about the sweet spot. Yeah.
8.5. Because if it ain't 8, it's gonna be 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll go over. Not by much though.
Yeah. I think that's a good line. 17 and a half is ridiculous. Nice 3 there by Elliot Cadeau. He's got 3 points on the game. Good scoring across the board right now for Michigan. Merez Johnson's had a couple of buckets that I've seen. That was a really good shot by Cadeau. 25-14 the Michigan Wolverines lead the Ohio State Buckeyes. Looking across the United Center, filled up a little bit more. I think we've reached the 10,000 mark in terms of capacity. I have to imagine this place is going to be absolutely rocking for the Nebraska game, taking on Purdue. Dude, like you talk about a game where like you want as many people for the United Center. Purdue, Nebraska is probably up there because Purdue, very sneaky, great Chicago alumni family. Like a lot of
this morning on Happer and Schaefer, and I went, "Oh, really? I didn't know
sneaky, very sneaky." Not a lot of people know that Purdue has got a really good alumni base here in Chicago, and a lot of kids end up going to Purdue, especially too because they have such a great engineering program at Purdue. So a lot of kids who want to be engineers, they either go to Illinois, which also has a great engineering school, or they go to Purdue. Those are kind of the two hot spots. If you're looking to go for like business and you're in Chicago, you either go to Notre Dame, but most people aren't smart enough, or you go to the Kelly School of Business in Bloomington for Indiana. So Indiana is a really good, there's a bar that is a Nebraska bar, but it's also a Indiana bar. It's called Kirkwood's. I'm sure you've heard of it before. A lot of Indiana people hang out at that bar. It's probably more, in my opinion, and the couple times I've been there, it's been more of an Indiana bar than a Nebraska bar, unfortunately. But we are here at the Big Ten Tournament, the United Center, Middays with Matt McMaster, joined by Josh Hodson. We want to thank Early Bird for sending us out here. So thankful to our friends out at Early Bird, the best in the business, putting us here in where I grew up going to Blackhawks games, where I grew up going to Bulls games, where I grew up going. They didn't actually have any circuses or anything here. There aren't too many special events.
Really?
No.
Is the circus not a thing anymore by the time you were a kid?
You know what? It was, but when we would go to the Allstate Arena and we were pulling through, there were lines of Save the Elephant protesters.
Okay.
There were a lot of angry people when you would go to the
It was
circus.
a real hassle to go to the circus at that time.
Yes, it was. I mean, you would be like 8 years old and you're like, Mom, why are these people mad? And then she'd be like, they're just weird animal conservationists. Don't worry about them. Let's go and get you a glow stick and a piece of candy. You know, like that's just how it was. Like
That's
they were
parenting,
like, oh,
Matt.
who cares? That is. You don't have to worry about that. You know, and then you would just go in, and I always got freaked out by like they put the big dome, and the motorcycle guys would go in and they go all across the dome and everything like that. Like that was tough. Like that, I would get really scared. I was a big lion tamer guy though for the circus.
Oh yeah.
So we are filling up here. Oh, big time. I love the lion tamer. That dude, talk about cojones of steel. You know?
Yeah.
I mean that guy, that was legit. Whoever the lion tamer was. So who's trying to be the lion tamer tonight is Berkay Butenjo when he takes on Oscar Clough, who had 10 offensive rebounds. First time that Purdue and Nebraska played each other. 18 more shots for the Boilermakers, which helped lead them to a 3-point overtime victory. 14-1 run to begin that game for Purdue. Can't happen tonight against Nebraska. What's not happening tonight across college basketball is the LED court for the Big 12 tournament. Complaints of players slipping, complaints of players getting a migraine from the court and its flashing lights and whatnot has made Brett Yormark say, no more. Keep it simple, stupid. We're going to beautiful hickory hardwood for the Big 12 tournament tonight. I want to give the Big 12 credit. Kudos to them for sitting down and saying, how can we make our tournament different? How can we get something that brings people in, maybe outside, that don't typically watch the Big 12 tournament, to say, hey, I want to put my eyes on that. When I heard this was going on, I praised it. I heralded it. I thought it was a really interesting and innovative thing. And I really do look, the Big 12 very much is the weaker conference, the third conference in college sports right now. It goes, the Big Ten and the SEC are 1A or 1B, or they're just both one. Then it goes to the Big 12, then the ACC, and then whoever else you want to put there, right? In terms of all of college sports. The Big East could probably be put in with the ACC, especially for basketball. But I respect them for trying so hard and trying to establish themselves as, like, Brett Yormark.
When you're third, you have to have the weird, quirky idea.
Yes, you do. And they're not just sitting back and letting themselves get run over by the Big Ten and the SEC. And I think Yormark from how he talks about the Big 12 to how he promotes the Big 12 to how he's trying to be innovative in the Big 12. Like, I wish sometimes Tony Petitti was as forward and as motivated, it seems like Brett Yormark is, to be the voice for his conference. This blew up in their face, okay? And I give them a ton of credit for being creative. I give them a ton of credit for trying to push boundaries. But, you know, the Big 12 is the best conference in basketball this season, in my opinion. You got Houston. You have Iowa State. You have Arizona. You have Kansas. You have BYU. You have Texas Tech. You have TCU was making a push, right, to be into the NCAA tournament. That was a team that was outside of the bubble. They're now projected to be a 9 seed according to Bracket Matrix. You got the best basketball conference. You don't really need to do anything different to get your people, to get people to watch your games. They have by far the best game of the night between Arizona and Iowa State, you know, in the slate. So it's one of those things where, especially now that kind of the reports from Fox are coming out that college basketball is getting record viewership and the interest and the popularity of it is rising. You know, it's one of those things, Josh, where it's like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And the wheel in this part was the Big 12 Conference Tournament. It already is a great tournament. You didn't really need this thing to be marred or stained in any way because you decided to go with a floor that's too slippery.
Yeah, if the floor was comparable, I think this is a great idea. Like, okay, you know, the occasional kid's going to have a migraine. That's very unpleasant. I'm sorry.
It's so unpleasant.
But like, you know, we're still going to do this. But if the playing surface isn't good, you can't do this. I can't believe it got that far with the actual surface not being comparable to wood.
You think they would have been ready to go if they. I thought that was a prerequisite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a prerequisite that this wasn't going to affect play if they did this. And obviously it wasn't, which is a mistake. It's an obvious mistake by the Big 12 for potentially compromising, you know, the integrity of the game because it's just not played on any other regular surface that other teams are playing on in conference tourneys. I give them, like I said, I give them a ton of credit for trying to push the boundaries, for trying to be creative, to try and the Big 12, like you said, because they are on the backside here, or on the wrong side of the glass in terms of having power in college sports, they need to be kind of the gimmicky, you know, I know. You see that? But like, they got to be the gimmicky. They got to be a little WCW, right? You got to put some things on a poll. Like you got to do some. You got to be TNA. You got to be Impact.
All right, that's stupid enough. I got to see how that works.
You got to see the 6-sided ring. Like you got to do some stuff like that to get people, you know, interested in your product. But when it comes to basketball, they got AJ Styles in his prime. They got, you know, Kevin Nash in his prime. They got some of the best teams in the country. They got top talent, top players, top teams. You know, I haven't looked. Wow. So Yaxel Lendenberg just yammed on the other side of the basket. He just dunked all over. I don't know who that is. 13 Tilly. I don't know who that guy is. He just killed him though. Nice dunk. Whoa, that was a good one. He's an NBA prospect, man. Good Lord. You know it when you see him. He sticks out like a sore thumb, too, even from up here. Adaimara just had a terrible take. Anyway, what I was saying is you got to be unique. You got to be different. I get it, but I just think when you have such a high-quality product like the Big 12 does, you don't need to be all cute and all different. Real quick, before we get into the odd news coming up at 11:45, and then Brian Christopherson confirmed to me that he will be on at 12 o'clock. So there was a report yesterday coming from Front Office Sports that the NCAA tournament, the charter planes that will send teams to tournaments are potentially in jeopardy because they're being used for ICE. The government is using them for immigration. And so potentially that there might be some NCAA teams who are going to have to fly commercial. I'm not getting political. Here's all I want to say, though. I just want to say this. I feel really bad I feel bad for some of these teams, these mid-major teams, who have been flying commercial all year, and I saw it last year. I wasn't there, obviously, but like hosting with Gary and seeing like Gary go to the NCAA tournament with Omaha, being on a charter plane, and being wined and dined and given that swag bag and the whole 9 yards. And they treat these mid-major teams like kings, and they put them in nice hotels, and they really treat them like they are the star of the show. And for power conference teams, that's just a Tuesday, like taking a private plane and having this swag and having all these different coats and jackets and shoes and shirts and all that stuff. That's run of the mill. But for some of these mid-major teams like Siena, I've barely even heard of Siena as a college basketball team before. They're going to the NCAA tournament. I feel bad, kind of terrible for them that they're not going to be able to take a charter plane potentially, and it's one of those things where it's like, you hope they figure it out. And I really hope that they can do some things to really treat these mid-major schools and give them, the quality service that they've earned. They've won their conference tournament. They've, had to fly these commercial planes and maybe not at the best hotels and haven't stayed in the best cities and haven't had the best food and don't have all the best gear. Like, I hope that we can get to the point where these mid-major teams, who some of which are going to the NCAA tournament for the first time, and some of these guys who are on these mid-major teams, this is going to be the peak of their college basketball experience. I hope that we can find a way where these kids aren't taking Southwest to go and play, whomever in Buffalo. So that's just not getting political, but I read that. I immediately just felt terrible for some of these mid-major teams, because I'm like, this should be the peak for you in terms of travel, and it may turn out to be that that's not going to be the case. Alrighty, coming up next, maybe I took an odd news story, who knows, but Josh Odson will give us the odd news coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, I'm going to go and get a cookie and some popcorn. I'll show you what some of the things they have here at the tourney is.
He brings joy and positive energy every time he's at our gym. Teaches our players that they have the chance to make a difference. Grayson's obsessed with basketball. He loves it. He's always been smiling on his face. That makes you be with him. He's a part of our family. The 16th plus Grayson. Discover Grayson's store later this month at midgarworld.com.
Fast, please welcome Grayson to today's game.
You know what? You on the video board. All you gotta do is scan that QR code next to my head here. Hang on, guys. Connor and PJ. You can get a chance to go blind on the video board straight from your cell phone, just like Stand Now Fan Cam, presented by Hilton. Oh, we got so many great fans in the building today. And thanks again to our friends at Hilton. Hilton, the official hotel partner of the Big Ten Conference. Hilton for the stay. Oh, my friends are up in the 300 level. Good to see you here as well.
How you doing? Matt. Rory, nice to meet you. We're I'm live on the radio here in Omaha. So no, don't worry. You do your thing. I just wanted to warn you.
Keep the F-bombs coming.
Yes, to an absolute minimum. Do you cover Ohio State or
no? Sports event that we have.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, nice. That's great. We got a great view in the house here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Alrighty. Charles is late to the show. We got popcorn. Yeah. I do want to let you know we are live on YouTube right here too, so you might be able to hear some of the things. But yeah, work in Omaha. I went to the University of Nebraska. Now I work. Okay. So they have these. Look, you see these? There's a bunch of almonds and stuff.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Josh Odson, we're hanging and banging here at the United Center. Ohio State making a bit of a run. 27-33 is our score. The Wolverines went ahead and currently leading by 6. I'm making some friends up here at the press box right now. I met my friend Roy to the right.
Roy, shout out Roy.
Yes, shout out Roy. Great guy. Works in sports philanthropy. I got a card, my first networking card here of the Big Ten tournament. Look at me, Matt McNetwork.
Congrats.
I went ahead and I took a look at the snacks that we have here at the Big Ten. So first off, popcorn. Now, this ain't your mom's popcorn, all right? Look at these kernels. Look at this kernel. Do you see this kernel?
It's
this is a
very
big boy
yellow.
kernel.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
big. It's yellow.
this is high quality popcorn.
Okay.
Classic got the Doritos. They got Diet Dr. Pepper here, so we went ahead. We got that. Oh yeah, it is a popcorn Friday at the 1620 Zone Studios. And then look at this, Blue Diamond almonds, honey roasted almonds, and more. They got almonds, cashews, and a pistachio mix. Look at that.
Nuts
that
are
something?
expensive,
dude. This is a whole tub. This is ridiculous.
And shout out Random Mike, who's always reminding us that it's heart smart to eat your nuts.
Always eat your nuts. Nuts are great. Are you a pistachio? Do you have a specific nut that you like?
I like almonds.
You're an almond guy.
Yes.
Okay. Here's a nice look at this. Look, this is a seasoned almond. I'm a cashew man, if I do say so myself.
So is my wife.
I love a good cashew. They have some already cracked pistachios in here, non-shelled pistachios, which I haven't. Oh, some nuts got out of the jar.
Hate it when I spill my nuts across the table.
See, here's the thing. There's some like pistachios. Like you can buy pistachios that are already taken out of the shell. What type of a wuss do you have to be to buy that?
Whoa.
All right. That's a part of the job. That's a part of the work. No. Part of eating a peanut is putting the peanut in your mouth, cracking it in your mouth, taking it out, and then, putting it in the shells. Part of eating pistachios, cracking it out. You got to earn it.
That is implied when eating nuts or seeds or anything like that. You might have to do some work for it.
See, I don't think the one thing is that I can eat a good bag of cashews and be satiated. I can't eat sunflower seeds and be satiated. I feel like sunflower seeds is just like for you to pretend that you're dipping while you're not dipping. And I'd rather just dip,
Famously.
Like, yeah, Bruce Thornton just hit a monster 3, 2-point deficit now for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Whoa.
I'm so happy I get to watch Bruce Thornton play basketball. He's been a guy on my list that I've wanted to see play forever. And I know that this might be like the last shot to see him. I've watched him so much on television. I've watched so many Ohio State games where he just goes off. He's like what I felt this way about Melo Trimble in 2016. I love Melo.
Good take.
Like Melo, like watching Melo Trimble play basketball. I would watch Maryland games to watch Melo Trimble. I would watch Ohio State games, go watch Bruce Thornton. And now he just had a steal. Oh my God, behind the back. He's on his own break. Bruce, lob. Oh, they didn't score. Dang it. I do not want Michigan to win. Nah, lob in the other end. That should have been a foul. Terrible no call. Timeout, Buckeyes. All right, odd news. Sorry.
That's okay. We're going to start and end in Florida today.
All right. Here we go. We're going to go Florida woman, gas station, gun.
No.
Damn it.
To all of it.
Dang
Good
it.
guess,
Dang
though.
it.
I could see why you would think that, but a
Okay,
Florida
okay.
man was arrested after he made 2 attempts to steal a septic tank from a construction site. The first time he tried to steal the septic tank, like one of those big, like 2,000.
Yeah, I know what it's.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you could sell it for scrap. But he took his Toyota Corolla.
That
and
ain't gonna fit a septic tank.
Tried
Come
to
on.
pull it away. With
on.
that, he returned with the Jeep Cherokee, was unsuccessful, and then
Maybe a
finally
Sienna.
rented a U-Haul and was able to get away with the septic tank.
Oh, so he was successful. He did this.
He did eventually get away with it, but was pretty shortly after that caught.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? You kind of have to respect the effort, right? In a way. Like, don't
He
you kind of
was
respect
going to steal that septic tank.
There was no way that septic tank was not going to end up in his possession. And you know what? We can say, whoa, it's illegal. And, oh, you shouldn't take things. And, like, yes, you people are boring and you're correct. But you know what? He showed the drive and initiative that we want here at 1620 The Zone. Let's hire this guy.
That's right.
He can solve our problems.
Absolutely. That's an answers man. We have a world record of the day. Well, yeah, okay, it is a world record. A Netherlands engineer built a car for his pet goldfish, Blub, who drove the vehicle a distance of 40 feet in 1 minute to break a world record.
What, the most feet driven by a non-human?
I believe by a goldfish specifically.
First off, the previous record was what?
Now, okay, I don't have that, but
Okay.
I'm going to bet there wasn't one. The greatest distance covered in a motion-sensing vehicle by a goldfish in 1 minute is the official record. 40 feet, 3.46 inches, and it goes to Blub the goldfish in the Netherlands.
So I was going to ask, like, how many of these records are, like, broken, or how, like, do you think you and I could just create a record? Like, you and I can think of something that hasn't been done before.
I'm sure if we
And
sat
we
with
can-
the book long enough and flipped through it and like, okay, you know, Mike Schaefer, great at creative ideas.
Yeah.
I'm sure he
This should
could
be something we
with
do.
it.
1620 the record. We create our own world record, and then we set it. And then we see if anybody's stupid enough to break it.
Most
How about that?
sports talk on an FM stick in central Nebraska and an AM stick in Omaha.
I will go. What is the world record for longest time on radio?
It's like 40 some hours, if I'm not mistaken.
On the radio. Do you think we could do it?
Um,
Wow, 55 hours.
5. Okay.
Whoa.
Could you talk for 2.5 days?
Obviously, it's a point of sleep. You know?
I do think we have a couple people, like if we did a 3-man show, I think you could weave one person out at a time. I don't know if
that's
that
the thing.
breaks.
But then
if that's
Josh
legal.
would take the record home. You know, then the plaque would be in the Peterson household. Is the problem?
I love marathons.
Yo, I
That's
run
my Josh
marathons. I'm
Peterson.
so cool. All right, what's our final odd news story? Oh, Florida woman Honda with a wrench.
No, you did get the first couple parts
Okay.
right. It is a Florida woman.
Okay.
A routine school dismissal turned chaotic Tuesday at Norland Middle School in Miami Gardens after police say a parent threw a Gatorade at an assistant principal.
You should be throwing something.
The article says to the shock of everyone involved. Authorities say a 40-year-old woman threw Gatorade in the assistant principal's face, doing it twice during an incident that started near the school's entrance. I can't believe what happened. That's crazy. I was shocked, said another parent. According to an arrest report, the assistant principal was monitoring dismissal when the mother rushed toward the building, and the principal said, "Excuse me, ma'am, you can't come in yet. 3:20 is when we start letting the parents in." And the mom wasn't having it, and she threw the Gatorade in the principal's face, and the principal, you know, he took it like a champ, and she tried to get back in, and he said, "It's not 3:20 yet. You can't come in yet, lady. What are you doing?" And then, bam, second Gatorade strike has hit the principal. And
a second Gatorade has hit the principal.
That's when police were called.
Steve Max is our first halftime intermission performance here at the United Center.
If I remember right, that's a time mark from Connor.
Yes, very Simon Says guy is Steve Max.
That's what I thought it was. Okay.
What was I going to say? It would have been so funny if one of the parents was like, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all.
That had been brewing for weeks.
That lady's crazy. You should see her at her little kids' baseball games.
Principal had been
insane.
asking for it.
Yeah.
Whole trip.
She had it coming. He had it coming. Do you know what we have coming for you? Brian Christopherson going to join us over the phone here on 1620 The Zone. He's currently in the parking lot of the United Center before he walks in. So close yet so far, Brian Christopherson. But let's have some fun with Huskers 247 BC coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, here we go. And
Simon says hands up. Simon says wave. Simon says stop. Hands down. And you're out. You're out. You're out. Simon says hands down. Yeah, you're still waving. Go. Yeah. Wait a minute. You know what? My friend. You have delicious hair. You're back in. Yeah. Wait a minute, my friend. I didn't say Simon says you're out again. You are no good. Here we go. Simon says up. Simon says wave. Simon says wave. Simon says stop. Hands down. Simon says hands down. Everyone come a little bit closer, please.
This guy's eliminated. Oh, he just eliminated like half the field.
Just that good.
Whoa.
Simon says wave. Simon says stop. Both hands up.
All right, time to do some work. I got to go on Twitter. Let's go on Twitter. Let's see here. Notifications. Got some notifications. Jimmy Allen apparently did 16 hours of radio. Good for Jimmy. See. Luke Gifford. Hey, Huskers staying up. Going to the 49ers, or re-signing rather with the 49ers. We got one person left with the Ohio State Buckeyes for Simon Says. Some updates here. Rob Douster. Oh, we didn't hit this story. I got to hit that story next. Oh, I got to talk about the Supernovas. We'll do that after BC. Let's see here. Free agency. Okay. That's a good lead-in. I'll bookmark that. Let's go ahead over here. I got a lot of open tabs today. Super Bowl odds. And let's see where that's compared to. So Rams went up one. Bills stayed the same. Eagles really fell off. I like the Quay Walker signing, though, from the Eagles. Did lose Reed Blankenship. RIP the exciting whites. That was fun for a year. Let's go. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This one. Here we go. Eagles are down there. Ravens went up. Bills went up a little bit. See, I like it. See, if I had to make a little preseason bet, call me an idiot, but kind of like what the Chargers did this offseason. They're really good. Steve's killing it right now on Simon Says. Oh, Steve can't stay.
Nice. Simon says face me, and here we go. Supersonic Simon says.
Supersonic Simon Says, he says.
Simon says head, Simon says hips. Simon says head, Simon says hips. Simon says head, Simon says hips, Simon says belly, Simon says nose, Simon says belly, Simon says nose, Simon says belly, Simon says nose, Simon says ear, Simon says nose. Hands up.
Oh, he got her. Got him.
Let's go.
Steve, what a pro. Poll question. Which 1620 The Zone host or producer has the best chance to last 55 hours straight on air? Nick or Matt, or the odds on favorites? I disagree. I think Josh Peterson. I think Josh, if you challenge Josh to do that, and Josh really put his mind to it, it would take him multiple attempts, but Josh could do it. I think Happer and Bishop would have no interest. I think Schaefer would be interested in it, but I don't think Schaefer would do it. Not that I wouldn't be interested. I don't think I physically can do. I don't think I can physically do 55 hours. Too long.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Rocking and rolling here from the United Center at the TIAA Big Ten tournaments from the United Center. Early Bird has sent Middays with Matt out here. Early Bird, thank you so much, our incredible sponsors. Hey, don't forget, go to the 1620 The Zone Twitter feed, which is powered by Liquid Trucking at 1620 The Zone. We've had some tweets at Matt McMedia. We'll read them after we interview our next guest, the all-entertaining, encompassing, super smart, incredible writer, has his ears to the ground about everything Husker football, everything Husker basketball, the do-it-all man, Mr. Brian Christopherson from a parking lot at the United Center. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Lot A. I'm in Lot A, media lot list. I was worried about that, but the guy had it together, and I'm here.
You are. How was your experience in Chicago, then, my friend?
Well, I've only been here 20 minutes. My brother decided to come up with me, and we have been staying in Lombard, Illinois. You're probably more familiar than I.
Oof.
It was not bad. We found a little spot last night that was all right, decent front spot. So far so good. But this is my beginning entry into the Chicago weekend experience. The last half hour.
Are you here as a media member, or did you buy a ticket?
Oh, I'm here as a media guy. My brother is a UNL grad, and he has on his Husker caricature T-shirt with Bryce Stanford and Burke's face on it and all that stuff. But I'm the professional representation from the family.
Yeah, you know what? As I'm in the same boat as you are, we have to be the pros. Some family has to have the pros. I'm the pro of my family. You're the pro of your family. I want your professional prediction. I'm just going to give it to you, PC. What does Nebraska do? What do you think they do? Are they one and done? Are they two and done? Are they all the way? Did they make it to the championship? What's your expectations? What's got to play out for these guys?
I'm going to say a 1-1. How about that?
I like that.
I do think this is a tough matchup. We don't always have to be about what Vegas says about something, but it is sort of a strange situation where the 2 seed is a 3.5-point underdog last I saw to the 7 seed here. And so, I think there's some thinking from the Sharks and the Sharpies out there that it's a kind of a tough matchup. And obviously Purdue did get after Nebraska pretty good on the glass in Lincoln. I mean, it was 54-37. I was just looking at those numbers. 21-6 was the offensive rebounding. So such a huge part, obvious statement is, can Nebraska, which does play such good together defense, close down those possessions and not have to do it over 2 or 3 times today against Purdue. So I think like a guy like Burke, we might not always talk about him as much, but like he's going to have just a solid game, sort of. Maybe he only takes 2 or 3 shots, but has the good defensive metrics and is sort of a warrior on the glass and sets the tone there for the guys.
Yeah, I think he's an obvious piece tonight, and I think now I do have to ask you, because we've kind of moved past it after the Iowa game, but I think it's very appropriate to ask you this question because once again they're playing Purdue. Are you still worried about the slow starts that this Nebraska basketball team has endured over the past couple of games, even despite the fact of winning some of those games, for example, against Iowa, Maryland, and Penn State?
It's not like a constant fear with this team, but it's popped up enough recently that it's worth the question. And in the last time these two played each other, let's not forget it was 14-1 Purdue before the first media timeout. Hoiberg had to call TO.
Yeah.
And so it would be huge. There's obviously going to be a good contingent of both fan bases here for this game, but get your side sort of fired up early. Go to that first media timeout, up 10-6 or something like that. I think would be a huge deal. And I think really in those first 4 to 5 minutes, set the tone with some effort plays. There's going to be a 50-50 ball or two where you have a chance to show that's sort of going to be our basketball tonight. And so that's what you're looking for early, I think.
Brian, I'm going to steal a question I was asked this morning when I was on a radio interview with Happer and Schaefer. Regardless of result, regardless of win or loss or wins in the Big Ten tournament, is there anything specific you need to see from Nebraska? Do you need anything to get maybe some assurances heading into the big dance, the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, on the offensive end, I feel like they've just at times been a little more disjointed than they were when I felt like they were playing their best basketball, like in early mid-January, where there's been just some cluttered turnovers, some unforced stuff, frankly, just some sloppiness with ball handling and things of that nature. Like against Iowa, Hoiberg mentioned this the other day, they probably gave away 5 or 6 possessions sort of foolishly. And this is the type of game you can't do that in. So I'd start there. And then we've been on this kick for a while, but I think let's emphasize it today. Rink hit a couple threes against Iowa. He was 2 for 6, but he stepped into a couple. The rhythm looked a little bit better. I'd love to see him sort of just have that feel behind the arc, but also around the rim. Like I think he's maybe just been a little bit off with his angles and some of the finishing down there, and maybe not quite the confident guy he was a couple months ago. And I still think so much rides on Rink, like in March, if he can find that level again that we know he's capable of how far this team can go. And Jamarcus DeLawrence, I think, is another guy who, he's had, we talked about last week. I remember you asked the question about him. I was glad to see him get that steal at the end of the game after the missed free throws, and even little things like that I think can boost the guy sometimes. But just you want to see him in just full control and sort of feeling his shot today too.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point, right? Like obviously, the importance of Rink comes from the fact that he can space the floor and give a lot of other opportunities for guys like Hoiberg and guys like Sanford to go and hit shots. But at the same time, if he's hitting that baby hook, right, if he's establishing himself within the paint, that's just a whole other layer, and especially in the last 4 minutes of the game, right, when we get down to crunch time, you're going to need somebody to give the ball to and say, hey, go get him, Tiger, go and win us this game. And if Rink is hitting in the post, he's definitely a candidate to be that type of player for the Huskers. Brian, let's shift over to Nebraska football. We are already 10 practices through. Anything standing out to you? Anything that you've heard about the practices? Anything that you've listened to in terms of Rule or Holgerson or any of the players? Anything sticking out to you specifically as we are only 15 days away from the spring game, which is crazy to say?
Yeah. You know what, Matt? If people would say, hey, it's been a quiet spring over there and all that, and there's truth to that, within that, though, I feel like there's been somewhat. I think we've got more information in some areas than we have in previous springs. And one of the things that's been most interesting is sort of how Dana Holgerson and all of that offense is really leaning into Calandria's ability to extend off-schedule plays, and like have an act two sort of to the play after the initial, part breaks down. And it sounds like there's been some effectiveness there. And we even, when the media had access Tuesday, they're working on that scramble drill. And that really stands out, like how much focus they're going to put on, even the stuff that feels like it's a little off the first 4 or 5 seconds of a play. They now feel like they have a quarterback who can bring a second life to that. And the receivers need to know that. And they need to find spaces on the field with authority and run routes with that in mind. And like Addison Williams, the secondary coach, said the other day, like a normal football play, might last like 5-6 seconds. There have been some plays this spring with Calandria that are 10-11 seconds.
Sure.
And so I think it's challenging that defense too, to understand going in the lifespan of a play can be longer, and that can be useful for them as well. And then I think on the defensive side, Matt, there's been some interesting names pop up. I don't want to act like they're settled or anything. The competition goes on. But I think like Jameer Khan has clearly emerged as a guy like Rob Orich likes as a nickel or even a starting safety option. And so that's newsworthy. Jasir Whittington, I think, has made a good first impression on the D-line. And you've heard his name involved in some of the cheetah package, pass rush stuff. And then Dexter Foster is not like a surprise name to me. I thought he was a good under-the-radar get when they got him. But at linebacker, that room looked a lot different than it did a year ago with him, Chambliss, and even Will Hawthorne. So they have to go prove it. But I like what they've done with the linebackers as far as upgrading there, at least on the surface level.
Can I give you and feel free to disagree, okay? But can I give you a comparison to Jameer Khan? I think he kind of reminds me a little bit of Omar Brown from 2023, where Omar came in, transferred from UNI as a junior, didn't really play, right? Came in and I was like, all right, this guy didn't make an impact. Like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, new DC comes in. Tony White sees him. He gets an opportunity in the secondary. And then all of a sudden, as a senior in 2023, he's out there for a really good Nebraska defense. That 2023 defense was legit. And he had 51 tackles and he had a couple tackles for loss. And immediately, like even in the spring game, he kind of popped out as a guy like, oh, he's playing. Do you think that might be kind of the same thing with Khan, where comes in, I think it was from Southern Illinois, didn't really play a whole lot on the defensive end, got some special teams work, but then new DC comes in and all of a sudden we're hearing all about him. Is that a potential path for a guy like Khan?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not saying it because it's your show. I think that's a pretty straight on comparison, really. And both came from the FCS ranks. Mm-hmm. And in Jameer Khan's case, you have to remember he was coached by Jamar Mosey. From at North. And so Mosey had good intel on him, and I think a good feel that this is a guy who can definitely make something happen here. And Jameer Khan, if you listen to him talk, you understand why the coaches like him, because so much at this level, all these guys were the best athletes in high school and stuff. But who has like that love for the game and that desire to get into the 200 and 300 and 400 level stuff and be really good at it? And Jameer Khan is sort of that workhorse, it seems like, as far as trying to understand stuff and, grow himself every day. And he's not afraid to be loud on the field. I don't know if that's his personality off it, but he's loud on the field from what he says and others say. And so that's helped him. He could be the free safety. He's working there now. Dwayne McDougal, who came in from San Diego State, could be, your other safety option. And so that could be a nice 1-2 pairing. But yeah, Jameer Khan is definitely a story of the spring. Actually, he was a story of December. That's when it started to happen. Rob Orich saw right away
Yeah.
I like something in
Great
this
call.
guy.
Great
And
call.
I like that Rob Orich is like that. Like, he clearly sees stuff that fits his eye quickly enough. You know what I mean? Like, he can identify and, like, knows this is what works with what I want to do, and I can see how, like, this guy slides into that spot. And I think that's encouraging. You can kind of tell Rob Orich can figures out quickly, like, maybe this guy wasn't seen this way by someone else, but I see him this way, and that's all that matters. He can be something with this defense.
Isn't that the advantage of having a DC with their system? And do you think that was missing last season?
Yeah, it's a great point. He knows exactly what he wants. I'm not to say he's not evolving. He definitely, this is based off what people say. Like, he's always looking for new stuff. But Rule says it a lot. There's not a lot of gray area with what his defense is or what he wants to do. And so when you're built that way, as compared to last year, and Rule's taking some of the blame for this, where John Butler was maybe forced into trying to wedge stuff in that, you know, maybe it didn't even fit his eye completely, and that's just not going to work. And so I do think that's the thing they've got going for him now on that side of the ball. At least there's a clear like lens as far as this is who we are and what we want, who we would want to do at this type of player. And so then you go from there. So not that they don't have a lot of work to do, and I'm not acting like they got it all solved. The D-line still, it's interesting how they're going to fit those pieces together. But I do think he's a DC who has an identity, and that's you need that at least. And I don't think a year ago that was necessarily the case.
All right, you are a couple minutes away from walking into the United Center. I'm sure I'll see you up here in the hockey press box in some short time. Before we let you go, though, you said that Nebraska 1-1 for you, a win tonight, and then, you know, I think that assumed, you know, obviously a loss tomorrow for Nebraska basketball. If you don't have the Huskers winning it all, who's winning the Big Ten tournament, Brian Christopherson?
Let's see. It's usually a strange situation, not always, but I'm going to say I'll pick an upset and say Wisconsin wins this tournament.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
it does feel like the Big Ten tournament doesn't always just go chalk. Maybe Wisconsin pulls an upset. I think that Wisconsin-Illinois game is going to be really interesting with both fan bases well represented. It's going to get loud in there. So I'm looking forward to that second game. But I'll say the Badgers, but it's up for grabs. I mean, it's anybody's tournament, and I just want to see Nebraska come out, like, play their game, play their best version of themselves. And if Purdue brings their best, it'll go down to the wire and points. But we're going to have a better feeling if Nebraska sort of sounds like their groove going into next week at least.
Couldn't agree more, and you're right. Illinois right now very well represented. A lot of orange at the United Center, a lot of red at the United Center as well, but I don't think it's for Ohio State. I got a feeling it's for Wisconsin. By the way, Ohio State, Michigan tied. Get in the arena, Brian Christopherson. Watch this potential upset here and round 3 of the Big Ten tournament. Get in here, my friend. We will talk to you soon.
All right, I'll see you in a few minutes.
See you in a few minutes. BC of 247 Sports. Coming up next. Let's talk some NFL. Let's talk some Kyler Murray. Let's talk some Super Bowl odds. Let's talk a lot of things. And then we're going to have Austin Jacobson on at 1 o'clock here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
I have complaints, but Josh told me I can't call anybody an ass on YouTube, so I'll stop. But I have complaints. I'm also, though, having a white macadamia nut cookie. So shout out me. Let's see, how many people are listening right now? 36 people. What's up, peeps? How are we doing? Big Ten tournament, Chicago.
Offseason number 14, Kraton.
Friday feeling, love it. What do you like at Portillo's today? I don't always go hot dogs at Portillo's. I have been, though, recently at Portillo's on like a chili dog kick. If I do go hot dog, because their chili dog is really good. Chops out at Portillo's is underrated for sure. If you know, you know. Definitely, though, like the beef is what I've been getting the most probably recently from Portillo's. Big beef dipped, hot jardiniere. Don't be a kid and go mild jardiniere. Let's see. Hot dog with everything. So for those who don't know, that includes mustard, onion, pickle, celery, salt, tomato, sport pepper. At some Chicago locations, I would also include sauerkraut. Some places you can't get sauerkraut. Some places you can. Onion rings, good stuff. Cup of cheese. Cup of cheese is a pro move, Tay. Tay knows it. Tay is on it. That cup of cheese changes everything. Now, typically, I see people go fries with the cup of cheese. I haven't seen a lot of onion rings with the cup of cheese. I think a burger is a fine item at Portillo's. I wouldn't shame anybody for having like a Portillo's burger. At the same time, I would say we have a lot of other better spots you can have a burger in. Nathan goes, Matt, you mentioned Shoreline a few weeks ago. You frequent. I'm there multiple times a week golfing for free. You golf for free, Nathan? Jeez. I wish I did. I like Shoreline. I really like that back nine. I really like the back nine at Shoreline. Alex goes, jardiniere comes mild. Yes, it does. Got to get Marconi jardiniere. There definitely is some jardiniere that's too hot, in my opinion. I think the best vegetable you're working with in terms of jardiniere is probably cauliflower. Love the cauliflower on a jardiniere. Hot beef's so good, but I always wanted sopping, and it's cumbersome to eat. Yeah, it gets tough. The problem is, though, is that sometimes I go to places and I ask for my thing is that if you're getting an Italian beef, you shouldn't have to ask for it to be dipped. Dipped should be the default. I should have to say I want a Italian beef not dipped if you don't want it dipped. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just having Italian beef that's not dipped, it's kind of just a crappy steak sandwich. Oh, they swapped the front and back nine starting this season? Okay, I don't really like that. I don't really like that at all. I kind of like the back nine's a little shorter, if I remember correctly. I typically hit better on the back nine, but I always hit better on the back nine. Yeah, Vienna, J-Man knows it. Vienna beef sells both a hot and mild jardiniere.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt live and rolling on the air here at the United Center. We want to thank our friends at Early Bird for help sponsoring me, getting me back home to Chicago at the arena that not only did Michael Jordan, well, half of Michael Jordan's championships occur at, but where I grew up at. There's a lot of seats around these parts that I remember sitting in for specific games. Right below me there in the 100 section, I was there when the Chicago Blackhawks defeated San Jose Sharks 2013, tied the longest point streak in NHL history. That was during the lockout season. Probably right below us in the 200 section. That's where I was at for the it was like the Champions Classic in college basketball. I think it was like 2000, whatever year Jaren Jackson Jr. and Marvin Bagley all got drafted. I was right down there. Up there is the last Blackhawks game I went to, that 300 section with a couple of my buddies. Connor Bedard scored that game. A lot of great memories here. Across the way, like right across is when that's where I sat for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Blackhawks won that game, I think, like 5-1 or 6-1 or something like that. Great memories indeed. Great memories indeed. All here at the United Center. Great memories being made right now. Slobber knocker of a game that we're in. Ohio State, Michigan. The Buckeyes trailing by 2. Too bad none of their fans are here to cheer for them.
They could use that right now.
I see 0 Ohio State Buckeye fans. We're not at full capacity. We're probably, though, I would say, conservatively at 14,000 people right now, I think, in the UC. That number will continue to go up as we get closer to the Illinois game. I really thought that Michigan might challenge Illinois as the top team here represented at the Big Ten tournament. I was wrong. Illinois has showed up and is showing out. A lot of orange permeating the seats here at the United Center. So really interesting stuff as 14 minutes left to go in the first game of the Big Ten tourney. Early Bird has sent us out here. I want to thank them so much for doing that. We also want to remind you, we're going to give away tickets. We've been giving away tickets all week long to Hardy, the country artist who is coming to Omaha on March 21st. So we are reminding you here at 1:30 after the Austin Jacobson interview, we're going to ask you a trivia question, and you're going to have an opportunity to win yourself Hardy tickets. We've already given a couple away. We're going to give away one more pair today. So don't forget, around 1:30 is when we will give out Hardy tickets. I will go, Josh Hodson, how do you feel about like ESPN making all those graphics for like, look how many people watch our shows? I don't know. I think it's a little much sometimes. I don't know. It's just a little, we are in an era.
Too many shows. Yeah.
This is my thing. Graphics used to be cool, right? Graphics used to be unique. Graphics used to be on special occasions. Now I feel like we're just slapping a graphic on everything. Like everybody gets a graphic.
It's like that car on 3 kill the graphic.
Oh, I think so. But on 3's graphics are funny.
They are funny. They do make me laugh almost every time.
Would. The amount of times that has gotten dropped inappropriately in a group chat is the other graphic, though, that will never be defeated is the Sam Darnold mono graphic.
That guy won the Super Bowl.
That guy, do you think that guy, when he was taking that picture and he was pointing at the camera like this, that he thought that was going to be made for when he got mono, for when he couldn't stop kissing New York women?
He had no idea when he took that photo. This thing is going to haunt me for the rest of my days. No clue.
Can you imagine just like talking to little Sam Darnold? Sam, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine, Sam.
No,
all right, you're going to go through
a long
tough
stretch
times.
where you don't think it's going to be okay.
A very long stretch. A very long time. One of those stops included the current head coach of Nebraska, Matt Rule, which, by the way, read a Tunnel Talk today. I don't know how I feel about all the Anthony Calandria talk from this regard. It's not that I don't buy it. I think Anthony Calandria could be a very good quarterback in the Big Ten. Granted, there are some people who are like, he could be the next Diego Pavia. Here's my, I'm not going to claim anybody to be the next Diego Pavia. I'm not. Okay, I'm not going to go as far. If it were to happen, that'd be dope. I'm just not going to, I'm not going to be bold enough and say that about a player. Now, granted, there's a lot of conversation, when you read about spring football from these reports, whether it be on Omaha.com or Husker Online, everyone's talking about his legs and how much he's running. And by the way, I think that's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging it. Part of me is like, and maybe this is a cynical thought, but is it getting pumped up so much, not because he's so great at it, but instead because you just didn't have that quality in a quarterback last year? And so now that you see it, you're like, oh my God, I don't know. If I saw if I was driving in a Toyota Camry for 20 years and it was slow and it barely got up to third gear, When I hopped into a 2025 Toyota Corolla, I'd be like, oh my God, this thing's a rocket ship. You know, like it's not really, but you're like, whoa, like this is so much faster. Or it's like when you've been walking on the treadmill for 45 minutes and then you go ahead and you start walking on the ground and you feel yourself moving a lot faster. You know, it's like, is this a Calandry is legit and this is going to, I mean, he's going to be this just scramble god off schedule? Or like, are we just kind of over hyping this a little bit because Dylan couldn't do it? Like that's a cynical thought I have, because I'm like, they just write so much about it.
We do get a little enamored with a mobile quarterback around these parts.
We do.
And
Everyone loves
kind of
reintroducing
that into the plan this year, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, that I think the reintroduction is not much of a reintroduction. It is a resurrection. Like, I think this is what they wanted to do the entire time. Gabe Cupps, wow, he played on a grade school team with Bronny James. Gabe Cupps did in Ohio.
Whoa.
Went to Indiana for 2 years and then transferred to the Buckeyes this season. He's really good friends with LeBron James. Gabe Cupps, fun fact. I think this is a resurrection of their plan. Like, I think the way that they built this roster, where it's a lot to do with a dual threat quarterback, a lot to do. They invested a ton on the offensive line to make sure it was right. Running back by committee, you know, having a defensive coordinator who has his system, who is going to find pieces using existing parts on last year's defense to fix this year's defense. Like, this is exactly a lot of what they did. They're doing this year. They did already. Like, the 2022 defense was not good. That was not a good defense for Nebraska. And they brought in a defensive coordinator who had his very unique own system and said, okay, you know, use the parts we have here and figure it out. Like, we do not care. Find your pieces. And he found guys that didn't really contribute a lot in 2022 and plugged them immediately in 2023, and they made big impacts. We talked about Omar Brown. Deshaun Singleton was one of them. We talked about John Bullock eventually emerged as being one of those guys. They're kind of doing the same this year with Orch. It was like, all right, this is your system, the 4-2-5 system. Here are the pieces of a defense that was pretty disappointing last season. This is what you got to work with. Figure it out. Now, the one difference is between Orch and Tony White is Orch is not inheriting as good maybe Orch isn't going to inherit as good of a defensive line as Tony White did. Now, I do want to remember, Nash got a lot better, and Ty got a lot better from when Tony came in. That could happen with Riley Van Poppel. That could happen with Cam Leonard. That could happen with these guys in the D-line. But I think a big difference is that Tony didn't really come in and bring in Syracuse guys. I think it was Stephon Thompson. He didn't play that big a role on the team. Owen Chambliss is going to come in and be an impact guy right away. Dwayne McDougal is going to come in and be an impact guy right away. So that's one thing to look at. And I think having Andrew Marshall, too, who's familiar with Orch, is important as well. But I just, you just kind of sparked the thought, because you go reintroduction. And I immediately go, I don't know if it's a reintro as much as it is they finally kind of get to do what they wanted to do from the get-go. This is kind of what they wanted. They wanted to be big in the trenches. They wanted to use multiple running backs. They wanted to have a quarterback that can do both pass and run. They wanted to have a defensive coordinator where it's his defense and his system. And, I look at a guy like Jameer Khan, and I immediately think of, like, okay, this is kind of what Tony did. Like, Tony came in and started talking about guys that maybe we wrote off, or maybe we didn't pay as much attention to, or maybe we thought, his ceiling isn't that high, and all of a sudden they came and made a big impact. So, I really do think that them acquiring, like, there wasn't an option for them to say no to Dylan. They could not have told Dylan, no, we don't want you here. But Dylan definitely affected how they built this team, how they built this program, how they changed a lot of what they initially were trying to accomplish when they got Dylan. And I think that this offseason, with the type of players that they've acquired, with how they're how they've constructed this roster and certain skills that each kind of individual has, it's way more similar to what they did in 2023 than it is now. So, I think we'll always look back on the Dylan Raiola experience as like, you had to do it. You cannot sit up here and convince me that they could have told him no or they should have told him no. You had to do it. You had to take a shot. I just don't think they were ready. Maybe they just weren't ready to do it. Maybe if they had, established the program, and this is something that will never be answered, but like maybe if they got a guy like Dylan in year 6 or year 7, maybe it could have worked out. I think maybe having it in year 2 wasn't the best for him. And honestly, the hypothetical of what is this, what would this program look like if they got Dylan in year 5 or year 6? Well, frankly, they're going to have that hypothetical of Trey Taylor, right? I mean, that's another blue chip high school quarterback that's going to come in, and you're going to have to develop him into a high caliber level player. Are you going to be ready for Trey? And I think that this season is going to be big in making sure that you acquire services, because it's not going to – I'm going to tell you this right now. If Nebraska loses to Michigan State, or they lose to Maryland, or they look ugly against Washington or Illinois, there are going to be some people who are going to call the line of that Millard South quarterback and say, hey, are you sure? Are you sure? And if Trey is looking at this in year 4 and Nebraska isn't performing to the standards in which Matt Rule has communicated to him that they're going to, I don't blame Trey for maybe thinking, maybe not. Maybe I'm not sure.
He's more or less uprooted his whole life for the program by moving here. So.
And there's been no signs, Josh, it's a great point that you bring up. There's been no signs that is the case from him. He hasn't communicated that to anybody. Same time, though, this team goes 5-7 and looks, like this team goes 5-7. Oh, big time. Now, Nebraska shocks the world and beats Ohio State or Indiana or Oregon or something like that.
Hello.
He ain't going anywhere. And if anything, Trey's phone's going to be ringing, but it ain't going to be other schools calling him. It'll be other prospects calling him saying, hey, can I join you? This is why 2026 is so big. I think 2025 had a massive effect on 2026. And I think 2026 may have a bigger effect on 2027. Real quick, we were talking about graphics. I want to read you this graphic from ESPN PR. Monday, fans tuned into NFL free agency coverage in a big way. Each dedicated show up over 20% led to 2 impressive day totals. 318 million total minutes watched combined on Monday and Tuesday. Pat McAfee show, the free agency countdown on NFL Live. All clips go over 500,000 viewers during the NFL free agency window. That's like a hockey playoff game. That's crazy. Like there's
people watching
insanity.
daytime ESPN.
Dude, like 11 a.m.
Which D lineman is going to move to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
It's just crazy how much of a death grip that this sport has on us. And hell, I was the one who was tuning into NFL Live, So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just this NFL. I mean, this league just continues to grow, get more popular, and the whole them playing a Thanksgiving or a game on the day before Thanksgiving. They want to play a game on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I think it's a mistake because that is a mistake. That's a free day for people. That is like, I call it amateur night. That's when all the amateurs come out to drink,
Well, Turkey Wednesday.
Blackout Wednesday is what some kids call it.
Are there going to be any games on Sunday during that 2-week span?
I just don't understand. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to watch the Wednesday Thanksgiving game. I'm not, unless that game is at like 12.
Like noon.
I'll watch a noon.
That would
Wednesday
be great because then we would not have to do a show and we would just stay at home and.
Yes, it'd be phenomenal if they did it. I'm assuming though that it would be a prime time 7 p.m. game or maybe like a 5 o'clock game. Maybe if it was 5, it's fine. But that's like a free day for people, man. Like, you don't have to take up every day of the holiday. You can leave a couple days free for people.
Now, this is a problem that quite literally only you and I have to deal with. It's like when WWE decided we're going to do something every single night of the week. And you're going to watch it because you care about us. And most people said, no, actually, I'm not. I'd rather hang out with my family.
I'm not. I don't think they need every day. You know, I think that there are some days that, like, I still kind of, can I be real with you? I blame Adam Silver for this.
Oh, okay. I don't know where we're going, but I love it.
I kind of hate the football on Christmas.
Whoa.
I love football. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to tune in. Don't get me wrong. But I just, there's a part of me that was like, that was the NBA's day. And I like that it was the NBA's day. And I like that nobody else touched it. And I like that, the NBA, I think, recently has failed in making those games a bigger deal. I remember when they would make those custom jerseys and the custom commercials, and it was like you were gearing up towards Christmas Day basketball, and that was that was the big event. Oh, Derrick Rose is going to take on the Rajon Rondo and the Celtics, or oh my God, Kobe Bryant is going to play the Baby Thunder, right? And they had those remember those Christmas Day uniforms where Cleveland wore kind of like a maroon red with a white.
Bring back the Christmas unis.
Dude, those were sick. And you had the little wax envelope stamp on that had the NBA logo on like the left patch. Like that was awesome. They just don't really, I don't know. Do they make custom Christmas jerseys anymore? Like, no, like they don't make that a big deal. And it's just like, I don't blame the NFL for saying, all right, Christmas is ours now. But at the same time, I kind of like the separation of sport, but at the same time, the NFL owns it all. They own it all. Super Bowl odds have come out after the dust has settled in free agency. Man, I think that the LA Rams killed it. Go ahead, get Trent McDuffie, re-sign Quinton Lakes, re-sign Cam Curl. That secondary was kind of the weakness of what they had. They locked that crap down. Jared Verse still coming off the edge. A dynamic pass rusher. Top of that, their offense is the offense, right? Like if you got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron, and then I think the emergence of Blake Corum was one of the more underrated things that happened in the NFL last season. I think the fact that now McVay can have a battery of two backs in an effective run game. I was shocked that Blake Corum didn't end up being a Los Angeles Charger, especially with Harbaugh being in the building. But I think it was a hell of a draft pick from McVay at the time, and didn't really use him a whole lot 2 years ago, used him a ton this season. I wouldn't be surprised if he emerged as their number one back. But, the offense is great. Stafford, Nacua, Adams, those two guys. It's just they went and they had a pressing need, and they addressed that need. And I think they addressed that need probably better than a lot of other teams. I think the next team that really addressed it were the Bills. That DJ Moore trade is big for them. It's very, very big for him. I think, too, a team that is having a very quiet, underrated NFL free agency, and you're gonna roll your eyes so back in the far, you're gonna get really annoyed at me when I say this, because I don't think you like this team, and I don't think you like this quarterback. I think the Chargers had a hell of an offseason.
Oh, God. We're doing this every year?
I think
we will do this every year until the end of time. John Harbaugh, great coach. I think this is the year that, Justin's going to pop. He's got a great supporting cast. And
I love
think
what
put
they
it all
did
together this year.
They got Biadish. I thought that was a really good signing. Cole Strange. Solid signing, former first-round pick. Biadish, the former second-round pick. Alec Ingold is a stud fullback. It's going to be great for that run game. They signed him from Miami. I really like what they did. And that offensive line with Slater, who's coming back. If Alt can stay healthy, Herbert's going to have his protection. Hopefully he's got more of a run game, and we'll see who he's throwing the ball to. But I really like what the Chargers did. I also think I don't like it as much as what the Chargers did, but I do want to give a proper shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh made a lot of really just kind of under the radar, sneaky moves like, Rico Dowdle, solid running back, 2 years in a row, 1,000-yard guy. We saw it last year in Carolina when Chuba Hubbard wasn't in the lineup. He exploded, set records. Michael Pittman took advantage of a situation where they were paying Pierce, so they let Pittman go. Just a quick little exchange, 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick, signed him to a deal under $20 million a year, kept Cam Hayward, Asante Samuel. I think it was a solid signing in the secondary. I really like Jaquan Brisker if he can stay healthy. Former Bear, made a lot of impact plays. Pittsburgh just very under the radar. I think it's going to be a lot, we're going to unfortunately not judge the Steelers correctly because it's going to be all about Rodgers and all the hoopla and everything like that. I think they had a really, really good offseason. Kyler Murray officially signed yesterday to the Minnesota Vikings. Crash Davis, our friend, told me, he goes, I don't like Kyler on the
Crash impression.
I don't like Kyler on the Vikings. I was like, Crash, why not? He's a very talented quarterback. Like, he's going to have a great set. Because the Vikings all line too big. He can't see over him. Literally can't see over him. How can he not see over him if it's so small? And I'm like, Crash, like, it's better than the other guy. He's like, well, the other guy over the middle is one of the most accurate quarterbacks. I'm like, are you trying to do my show right now? What are you doing?
Open invitation.
So, open invitation always. We love Crash. Look. There's this whole, JJ's a nice guy. You don't win Super Bowls by being nice people, okay? I don't care. He's all respect to him. Could be a good kid, does the things the right way. This is a business. And I think Kyler Murray, 2-time Pro Bowler, has been to the playoffs before. I just don't think he meshed with Jonathan Gannon, and I don't think the Cardinals and him, I think that relationship just kind of got weird, especially towards the end. I think the nail in the coffin was Jacoby Brissett looked really good and maybe even better than Kyler did for Arizona last year. I will say this, though. Like, is it the end of J.J. McCarthy? Probably. Is it a nail in the coffin? No. You need to go and get another quarterback, though, if you're Minnesota. I would call Joe Flacco, or I would call somebody who has some sort of NFL experience, because you're dealing with 2 quarterbacks that over the last 2 seasons have proven that they can't be healthy. So I think that Minnesota needs to go and get kind of an insurance policy, because I would not be shocked. I actually expect J.J. McCarthy to play a game or 2 this season when Kyler Murray ends up winning the job. Are we going to do this week in women's history? Do we want to do it? We want to do it remotely?
We can do it, but we have to do it quickly, as it is almost 1:00.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do 2. We're going to do 3. Let's hit a break here on 1620.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
How have you been?
All right.
Good. The wind sucks.
Spend some time with family while you're here?
Not really. I touched down at 8:00 yesterday. And then we're live. We're on the YouTube, by the way, so that's fine. I touched down at 8, and then they taxied us for freaking an hour. And then we got to the gate, and we sat at the gate for another 30 minutes. So we touched down at 8. I didn't get off the plane until like almost 10:00. And then I got home at like 10:20. And then I went to bed. So I did what I had to do. And then I woke up this morning at 6, and I didn't know what the setup was going to be here for me. And there wasn't anything. I mean, I'm just out of the press area, right? But I got here at 8:00, an hour before the
It's roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Host Coffee is on a mission to invigorate every workplace with a blend of bold flavors and unforgettable service, creating moments with our coffee, water, and food services that spark joy.
I'm recording like updates for the Zone and all the other stations that are going to post it out there. So, you're just writing? Okay. Jeez. And then are you here until all the way until the tournament's over? Or? Okay.
We might stay through each the last night.
Okay.
Yeah. Supposedly we can move down for ours. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. When your team's playing it. We got it. It's good. The voucher they give you for food is actually way more than I thought it was.
Oh, where's it at?
I don't know where it's at, but it's $20, which I definitely would go down in the 100 concourse and do a lap because there's some really good options in the 100. All right. Wow. I think everybody who isn't a Michigan fan is currently rooting against Michigan.
Safe bet, I think.
Yeah. Brian Christopherson is here, everybody, by the way. He just sat right next to me. That's who I've been talking to. Nice. Oh. I haven't been in a press box since the Huskers were in Kansas City. Yeah. It's been a long time. Well, this one is cool. Now, I wanted to get into the hockey groups, but they wouldn't let me. It would have been great. It would have been, for my childhood, it would have been sick.
Hopefully the sound was all right. I was in when I was on there.
Oh, the sound was perfect. Yeah, the audio's been okay. Like, I got a little worried.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Brian Christopherson is in the house and just sat down right next to me. So we've been chumming it up. He just waved on our YouTube chat over here. All right, quickly, let's do a quick two-person This Week in Women's History. Josh Odson.
We're doing two?
Doing two. Quickly as possible.
Okay.
Or we can do one. Let's do one and let's really hone in. Let's do one and hone in on it.
Okay. A lot of
hone
pressure.
in on the one. A lot of pressure here. You better pick it right, Josh Odson.
I know.
Better
I
pick
know.
this right.
I want to do a fun one that everybody knows. Let's do. No, I think you know her. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through my list.
See, how many do you have?
It's extensive. Let's go Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn. Audrey. No. What, she's a British actress?
That's right. I was going to do one from Chicago, but I
Was she in Princess Bride or something?
couldn't find one that you didn't know. Breakfast
What
at
did she do?
Tiffany's.
Oh, my mom's going to kill me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've never seen
Got to go
Breakfast at
home to her tonight.
Jeez, she's going to be really upset.
My Fair Lady, Roman Holiday.
Yeah, these are all like, no offense. I don't want to. These aren't movies I would watch.
That's why I picked it.
Like, I would never watch.
I had one
Gardens
shot
of the World with Audrey Hepburn.
I needed to know it was someone you didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Audrey Hepburn's Enchanted Tales.
Okay. You
So
don't
is
find her
she-
to be an important contributor to pop
Whoa,
culture?
experiences during World War II?
Is that a section on her wiki?
Yes, on her wiki. She was very. Wow, there's like multiple. Holy crap! There's a lot of her on World War II.
Yeah, she was a big deal. I don't know about her World War II history.
She's a ballet, so she's for the arts, if you will. Audrey Hepburn. Okay. Oh, look, is that Gregory Peck?
Yeah, that sounds like somebody
Wow.
she would hang out with, work
Did
with.
she do movies with Jimmy Stewart?
Yes.
I love Jimmy Stewart.
Do you
Okay,
do
I
the
see.
Stewart impression?
Hang on, hang on.
Okay.
My leg's hurting, Bert. My leg's hurting. My ears bleeding. Zeus pedals. This is my Jimmy Stewart.
I think it needs some work. I'm going to be honest with you. A little
Yeah,
tough love.
okay. Thank you. It's only one movie. Audrey Hepburn, gorgeous in Breakfast at Tiffany's. My goodness.
There you go.
Good one, Josh. That's what it's all about. Her contributions to pop culture. Definitely, I'm going to tell my mother I learned about Audrey Hepburn today. She's going to say, I'm proud of you, son. Hopefully, that'll happen more. Somebody who, though, currently is reporting on a lot of parents telling their sons that they are proud of them is Austin Jacobson. He is at the Nebraska high school men's, or I guess boys, basketball tournament in Lincoln. We talk to him next on 1620 Gazette. All right, this game's getting intense. This is an intense basketball game. 64-62. Ohio State leads. Am I allowed to do play-by-play? Thornton with the ball at the top of the key. Thornton looking for a screen. Throws it over to Royal. Royal back to Tilly. Hands the ball off. Mobley Jr. cuts to the paint. Back to Tilly. Tilly in the paint. Holds on to it. Tilly working on Mara. Double team. Tilly throws it back out. Over to Thornton at the top of the key. Thornton trying to shake Cadell. Can't do it. Shot goes up. Cadell steals it. Into the paint. Up for the layup. Blocked by Thornton and a foul. All right, I'm done. No more disseminating.
Are you ready, my guy? All right, let's see what it is. You get all Friday songs as the choices, and it looks like it's going to be, is that Last Friday by Katy Perry? All right, thank you. Let's drop that track. They take care of y'all, and love it when the team stand up and make some noise. So why don't you get out of your seats and make some noise, Chicago? Because it's your team's got some t-shirts. Who wants a t-shirt?
But I'm pretty sure it rules. Last Friday night. Yeah, Chicago Happer is not good at his job. Does not get me hyped. Not hyped by Chicago Happer. They're showing a bunch of Michigan fans who look to suffer all let it go.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 Zone, live from the United Center at the TIAA Big Ten Tournament, brought to you by Early Bird. Early Bird sending Middays with Matt to the UC, the house that Jordan built, if you will, and currently at the house that maybe Tominaga built, or the house that Strickland built, or the house that Piakowski built. I don't know what you would call Pinnacle Bank Arena, but hailing from there, from Herd at Sports, is Mr. Austin Jacobson. Austin, how are you?
I'm good. I am actually at the house that Bob Devaney built because it's after his name. We're covering small schools here at the Bob, but the C1, B, and A are all at PBA today for semifinals.
The house that alcohol built.
And true, very, very true.
Wasn't it cigarettes? Wasn't there a cigarette tax for that, right?
That's true.
Okay.
I'm sure there are plenty of rumors, but I don't want to, disparage the good name of one Bob Devaney.
No, because disparaging names is something that Austin Jacobson would never do unless your name is Matt McMaster.
Yes, that is 100% true.
Respectful to everybody else, but the host of the show that you're currently on. How are you? How have you been enjoying Lincoln, Omaha boy?
I am enjoying Lincoln. I will say I do miss my dog. I miss my home, but state basketball always keeps us busy enough. I'll be honest with you, Matt. Right now, I'm shook. What was supposed to be the game of the year in Class D1 and potentially the entire state, Ogallala, Ashland, Greenwood, will not be happening. Ogallala,
who lost?
County West earlier today in the 9 a.m. game. Indians shot 1 of 18 from 3, and I believe both teams combined to shoot 19% from the free throw line. So bad look, but Ogallala is no longer unbeaten, and there are no unbeaten teams remaining in the state of Nebraska. And Ashland Greenwood takes down Jim Weeks and Auburn, so they'll move on to the title game. And it looks like we could be seeing the dynasty of the Blue Jays continue under head coach Jacob Mose. So a lot of exciting stuff already early in this early slate of games.
I saw an Ashland Greenwood Ogallala game a couple of years ago. I think it was like the day that Russell Wilson got traded to the Denver Broncos. And if I'm not mistaken, Kale had like 41 points in that game. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, that's like a Jacobson, Ashland Greenwood performance if I've ever heard one.
Well, is there anything else, any other upsets that have gone on in the high school state tournament? I saw it was very early on in the tournament, the Lincoln High wanted a comeback for West Side. London Dada, what a player. What a comeback for West Side. Anything else has been going down over there at the high school state championships?
I guess on the smaller town side, there's only one lower seed technically remaining. That is the 6th seed in McCool Junction in Class D2. They're going to play tonight at Devaney to determine if they're moving on to a state championship game. The 5 seed Norfolk Catholic is about to start their action against 1 seed UTAN here at Devaney as well. But it looks like everything, and I said this last week, and I was immediately wrong with the girls' tournament, so we'll see if it happens again. But, in Class B, once again, it looks like it could go chalk. Norris and Scott Catholic look like they're on a collision course against each other. But watch out for Scotts Bluff. There's a lot of stuff that comes out from the Mountain Time Zone. Scotts Bluff, if they shot the 3-point exceptionally well yesterday. Like, beyond even their traditional Drew Cuxhausen years and all these great shooters that have come through, Trent Harris and all those guys. There's no team that has shot the 3-point shot better in the state tournament after one game than Scotts Bluff did last night. If they can repeat that against Norris, cut that deficit between the two of them and what they had in the Heartland Hoops Classic a few weeks ago, there's a great chance that Scotts Bluff may be representing the 308 in the state championships in Class B tomorrow. But it does look like, again, we're going to have a lot of good matchups. Papio South and West Side are going to have some 2 really big tests today. West Side will take on Lincoln Southwest and the Sanders twins. And we'll see if Papio South can continue kind of their hot hand like I talked about last week when they take on Bellevue West. So the biggest storyline truthfully remains that if an LPS school can get to a title game, it's going to be the first time in 2 decades. And if Southwest can somehow win it, it's going to be the first time in a super long time that we'll see the city of Lincoln hoist a trophy in Class A.
Player of the tournament so far, Austin Jacobson. You can do multiple because there's multiple classes. Players that are sticking out to you.
Oh, that is a great question. Well, unfortunately,
Yes,
I have
get
to
in.
shout out Ogallala's. No, go ahead. Yeah,
Yep.
I have to
Thank
shout out Ogallala's Sawyer Smith. He had nearly a quadruple double in his very first game. Had I think 23 points, like 12 rebounds. He had 10 steals and then 9 assists in the Indians' opening game. Of course, did not have that performance today with Ogallala losing. A couple of other guys, obviously London Data, you mentioned him earlier with Omaha Westside. He was phenomenal in their comeback against Lincoln High. But again, honestly, I'll give you an underrated name. Papio South Connor Falkenberg has been phenomenal, and he's been doing it for quite some time. I've been saying Levi Webb's kind of the hot hand. He still is. He's the number one scoring threat for Papio South. But Falkenberg gives them finally that number 2 piece that they've been looking for to turn the tide for a championship season. And if the Titans are going to defend their title, they have to get through Bellevue West, obviously, tonight. But Falkenberg's a big reason why. Not only they won their first round, they won a district final over Omaha Central, but he's been, I think, one of the most best underrated stars that we have seen in Class A. And that star's only going to get bigger if he continues those performances like he did the past few weeks.
Great job covering that for us in the high school boys basketball tournament. Let's talk Huskers real quick. I want to give you 2 more questions before I let you go here because we know you're really busy covering all these different games. 2 more questions. Number 1, Huskers in the Big Ten tournament. Your outlook, keys for Nebraska to get past Purdue and then advance further in the tournament.
Well, I mean, truthfully, it's just, break the narrative. Like, you got to move forward, you got to move on, and everything else that's gone around. I mean, even the line last night I saw ballooned up to 4.5 Purdue, and I think it's resettled at 2.5. I don't know where it's at now, but I'm shocked to see that Purdue was gaining that many points and is getting that much. And I was just watching Ohio State, Michigan. I don't know what that final, or if it's getting closer to that now, but truthfully, anything can happen. You get a hot hand, you get moving, and you can even take the lessons learned from the Boys State basketball tournament this week. If you get out and you get shooting and started early, things seem to work out better for you because you can control and dictate the pace of game. I don't think it's necessarily dependent on one guy, but listen, Cale Jacobson's getting a lot of feature, a lot of love right now. If Cale Jacobson has an excellent day for you, you feel pretty good about your not only first round in this triple bye situation against Purdue, but you also feel pretty good about what you can do throughout the rest of this tournament, winning just a couple more games to get a Big Ten title.
Yeah, current update for you right now, Michigan up 68-64, 1 minute left to play. They got the ball. Bruce Thornton had 2 shots to cut the lead down in the last 2 possessions. He missed both of them. Great defense by Daimara. Michigan's got the ball here. So if they score, they're probably going to run the clock down. This thing's game over. But Buckeyes could extend. So that's your update right now from the Big Ten tournament. Austin, all right, real quick before I let you go. Is this just kind of a flush-it season for the Jays, or are there really big lessons you think to take from this one for a season that was wildly disappointing for a team that was ranked to begin the preseason, that had high expectations, whose season ended in the very first round of the Big East tournament?
Yeah, great question. And, I think that's the question that the program's asking themselves too, is this like a dump it, move on type of year? I don't know if it felt that way because of the emotional baggage and turmoil and everything else that kind of came with the year. To be completely honest, I think that this feels like it's a reset. Like, I feel like this is the best excuse to be able to hit the power on, power off button and say, all right, what do we dramatically need to change to get over the hump? You don't get a lot of these in sports where you're a program that's continually fighting and competing for championships and you have a high standard, but maybe there's something that's been holding you back. And I think that there's a great example here of Kraton, maybe finally that curtain just fell on them for whatever reason. Obviously, the transfers coming in, the lack of seniors that had been on the roster before they came into the year, all that good stuff. But there's a good possibility that Kraton could look at what they did, whether it's with one Greg McDermott as coach next year, or if it's with one Alan Huss as coach next year or in the future, that you can look to see what went wrong this year and completely reset what you want the next 20 years of your program to look like. I think it's a unique opportunity for Kraton to not just rest on their laurels and say, all right, we just go back to kind of what we've been doing, because that's unfortunately not where you are anymore. And the way that the program is set up, the way that the current roster is developed, you're going to have a lot of turnover again. You're going to have a lot of replacements coming in. So if you want to do it one more time, you're going to have to figure out what did go right, what did go wrong. And I think it's a good time to be able to say, why not hit reset and reset all of our expectations for what to do moving forward.
It's a phenomenal point brought up by you in terms of the turmoil that they're going to have to go through again. They're going to have once again a very different roster this season or this upcoming season to what it was this season. And maybe that new roster was part of the reason why things didn't go the way that they thought it would, right? Because you have all these guys learning a new system. It'll be interesting to see how they address it in the offseason, how they attack it, and what maybe is different next year as opposed to what it was this year. Austin, from everybody at 1620 The Zone, you did a phenomenal job this year on Blue Jay Shoot Around. Thank you so much for your contributions to the station. Thank you so much for your contributions to this show. I appreciate you, my man. Seriously, you're one of a kind. You're one of the best.
I don't have any compliments for you. Enjoy the Big Ten tournament, and I will see you again next time.
Piece of crap. Austin Jacobson joins us every Friday here on Middays with Matt. See you later, AJ. All right.
I look forward to him hosting Crown Shoot Around in a couple weeks.
I don't think that's going to happen. We have to look at the net ranking. It's the two highest net ranking teams in the Big East after the teams that qualify for the tournament. So it's going to be
real quick. Walker posted this today.
Okay.
Updated net rankings are out. Providence 80, Kraton 82, Butler 84. With Seton Hall all but locked into a Crown bid and PC expected to turn down the other, it might go to the Jays. Seton Hall's loss wasn't enough. The Seton Hall loss, was not enough to drop Kraton below Butler. We now look at Georgetown as they are 89th in the net. If they can beat UConn, would they slide ahead of Kraton for your Crown bracketology?
Hey, there you go. Josh, this is way too much math for the Crown tournament, okay? Once you continue to talk after the first sentence, I was done. I was over it. PC's right. Providence ain't playing without a coach. They're not going to play without a coach. I honestly think that if Kraton were to do it, you stand to benefit more practices, more times for guys to learn a system, right? Hypothetically. Like that was the theme of this season. You heard Max say it a lot in the beginning of the year. Year one is a difficult time. Year one is tough for a lot of players on the team. Like a lot of players take a while to learn the system, to learn how to play Kraton basketball, both on the offensive end and the defensive end. And it was a difficult process for them to get so many guys who were going to have to be top contributors for them to learn that system. And it's part of the reason why they got off to a very slow start in November where they had a 1-5 non-con against power opponents. It's one of those things where maybe if they were to go to the Crown, you would give yourself some extra time, extra practices, extra games for the guys who are coming back, who may be new this season, to continue to learn the system. The other part, though, that I kind of push back on is that Josh Dix isn't going to be with the team. Nick Graves isn't going to be with the team. You got to think, they're bringing in those two other freshmen who you got to think could make an impact potentially immediately, and then they're going to have to bring in a couple more guys too. Where it's like, does going to the Crown fully help your continuity when you don't really know how many guys for sure you're going to bring back? I mean, it's a question to be asked. Now, I don't doubt that if they decided to go to the Crown tournament, that there would be players like Josh Dix, like Nick Graves, who would want to play in that tournament and want to win that tournament. I don't doubt that. And I do think there would be maybe some benefits with, Hudson Greer getting some more time and maybe Fedor Zugic getting some more time, in a Kraton basketball jersey. At the same time, like, what would the full interest level really be from the fan base's perspective, right? Like, this has been a really tough year. Really, really tough year for Kraton basketball. And it's kind of one of those things where I don't know how many people are really clamoring to see them play more games. But at the same time, I wouldn't blame Mac if he said, look, fan interest be damned. If I think we need to do this in order to be better next season, this is what we're going to do, then they'll do it. I'm not going to act as if I have this great read as to whether or not they're going to. I don't have a read. I don't have a source. I don't have anybody telling me whether or not they would accept, a bid or not. To me, Josh, if they said no, we're not going to do the Crown, we've kind of had enough of this year. We want to move on. and we want to start focusing on what we can do next season, I wouldn't blame them. If they went ahead and they said, we're going to do this, we're going to play in the Crown, we're going to play in Vegas, we're going to try and play as many games as possible, I wouldn't blame them either. I'm kind of hitter. I don't really think there's a wrong answer for Kraton. I really don't. And a thing like the Crown gave Nebraska momentum, right? Heading into next season. But what it did more than anything was give Cale Jacobson a lot of minutes. Cale played a ton in the Crown games. And Cale playing a lot of the Crown games and Cale playing well in the Crown games, which he did, benefited a couple of ways. Number one, I think the coaching staff saw it. They're like, all right, this guy can play against power competition at a high level. Number two, it gave Cale more confidence heading into the offseason, and you combine with the increased confidence from Cale, along with the increased confidence from the coaching staff, that the Crown was a vital part in number 31's development, who's become a vital part of what could go down as the greatest Nebraska basketball team of all time. And so I think you might look at a team like Nebraska if you're Kraton and say, hey, they won it all. And they had I'm going to tell you right now, walking out of Pinnacle Bank Arena about a year ago after Nebraska had lost an 11 a.m. game to Iowa and got eliminated from Big Ten tournament contention. Like, let that sink in, by the way. Nebraska about a year ago around this time lost a game that eliminated them from the Big Ten tournament, not the NCAA tournament, the Big Ten tournament. They weren't the building I'm in right now at the United Center at this tournament. Nebraska wasn't even in this tournament last year. All right. That's how you made a song about it?
Yeah, Connor and I made a song about it. It's a Green Day parody.
I didn't hear that.
We could play it.
Can you play it?
Maybe. I don't remember where it's at.
Okay. But anyway, don't worry about it. What I'm telling you, though, is this. Walking out of that building, walking out of Pinnacle Bank Arena after Nebraska had lost to Iowa, nobody wanted to watch that basketball team play more games. All right? Nobody wanted an extended offseason. No, when they were announced they were going to the Crown, I was sitting in the morning show with Gary, and him and I were laughing about it. We're like, really? Really? Are you really going to watch the Crown? Right? Are you really, like, it was a joke. It was like, why the hell are they doing this? Like, this season ended so terribly, they should just pack it up. And yet what happened? They won the whole damn thing. They found that, a couple of guys that maybe they didn't anticipate could have big roles were going to have big roles, and they carried some of that momentum into a really good non-con. So, there are some benefits to be had. There's also the case, though, Josh, they go and they play in Vegas and they lose out, and then it doesn't matter, But it's just it's one of those things where I don't think there's a bad decision to be made by Coach Mack, right? I think Coach Mack is totally well within his right to make a decision, give his reasoning, and us to take his reasoning as, all right, checks out. Like, that's cool. I mean, he's earned that. And he's definitely earned the right to go out in a better manner than in the first round of the Big East tournament and potentially playing in the Crown. And so we will talk about Kraton's offseason throughout Middays with Matt heading into next season. I will just end our Kraton conversation on this. I think they have a legitimate shot to turn it around and be at the top of the Big East next season. If Kraton this time next year is playing in the Big East tournament finals, I would not be surprised. I do think that they have a core. I think Jason Green, Jackson Andrew, Hudson Greer, Fedor Zugic is a really good place to start. I think that's a solid foundation that you have there. And then on top of that, they showed last year in the transfer portal that, look, did they make the best decisions? Did they make the most effective decisions? Did they, kill it in the portal the way that people thought that they would? Absolutely not. Did they spend in the portal, though? And did they show that they were willing to commit dollars, real big dollars, to beat out teams for the services of Josh Dix, like Kansas, like Illinois? Yeah, they did. there's no reason for me to think that that won't happen again next year. So if they're playing with the same piggy bank or maybe even a bigger piggy bank, if we're able to promote this as, hey, this is Mac's last year, let's put all the dollars in the pot and let's go and try and get him a Final Four appearance. They're going to have an ability to be, shakers and movers in the portal. And look, yeah, this season did not go well from a perspective of them doing well in the portal. But let me tell you this right now. A year ago this time, we were talking about Fred Hoiberg not doing well in the portal. A year ago this time, we were talking about Fred Hoiberg missing on Braxton Mia. We were talking about Fred Hoiberg missing on Berke Butinja. We were talking about, was Raleigh Wooster, was that really, the best acquisition of talent, right? And what did he do the following season? He went out, he got Price Sanford, and he got a guy who ended up, according to the coaches, being a first-team All-Big Ten member. So things could flip. Things could flip on a dime. Things can change. Things can develop. And I think Kraton, I'm not going to call it the expectation because we don't know who the coach is going to be next season, but would not be surprised in the slightest if around this time next season that Kraton is back where they were a year ago today, which is in the Big East tournament final. All righty, coming up next, we're going to give away some tickets to Hardy, the country artist who comes to Omaha on March 21st. We'll be asking you a trivia question. You'll go ahead and email to Josh Hodson. He'll be giving away that pair of tickets. We'll also give you a quick update of around college basketball. What's the scoreboard looking like right now? What are the results of games from across the country, and how might they have affected the NCAA tournament? All that and more coming up from Middays with Matt here at the United Center at the Big Ten tournament, brought to you by Early Bird.
By connecting us to Big Ten student athletes and providing immersive experiences, the program continues to inspire learning, growth, and future success. Follow the Big Ten on your favorite social media platforms. Follow the Big Ten on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And like the Big Ten Conference on Facebook, you can also follow Big Ten men's basketball on Instagram at B1GMVP and X at B1GMVBall.
All right, let's go to Huskers.com. Go to Kraton.com. I found a piece of paper sitting around here, so I'm going to go ahead and write on that. Oh, scribble. Let's go here, Kraton. Some things that are going on.
Stacked like a champion with Blue Diamond
all the things.
The official snack of the Big Ten Conference. Start your day with 13 grams complete plant protein in Silk Protein, a partner of the Big Ten Conference. Slam dunk your cravings with crushed soda. There's something for everyone. With the classic fruit flavors of orange, grape, strawberry, and
anyone in the comments here.
Crushed soda. The official partner of the Big Ten. Wilton, the official hotel partner of the Big Ten Conference. With Wilton Office, store any room, anytime, anywhere, with free nights and no blackout. Wilton, for the stage. Marathon makes every.
See here, Michigan is in the world beer they are made out to be. I don't know. I mean, I think Ohio State gave them a pretty good run at their money. Their offense wasn't what I thought it would be, for sure. But when they needed to clamp down at the end of the game, they did it. Did a great job. I thought Cadeau, especially at the end of that game, did a great job on Thornton. I don't blame Diebler for the late game execution, but I don't think it was very good late game execution by Ohio State. I mean, took too much time off the clock at points when they were trying to get quick buckets. They also John Mobley Jr. missed a bunny at the front of the rim that he just can't miss. So, I mean, that's inexcusable.
Determination, teamwork, persistence, integrity, citizenship, justice, commitment, and excellence.
No Seager so far. Kind of disappointed. Wisconsin and Illinois tipping off in 20 minutes. So by the time we get to the crossover, we will have dorky happers on.
20 minutes until tip-off, so while you're waiting, if you haven't already, head over to the concourse and take a look at all the officially licensed both tournament and school gear at any of the locations.
Okay, got that. Going. Move this over. Out in the storm house. Oh, dang it. Okay, we can go through that. Refresh that.
Big Ten fans, now go ahead and scan that QR code up on the video board right now.
You want to say hi to the stream? Look who's here, everybody. Our Monday guest. Well, you're not out here. I can. At the stage. Robin Washington's here. Robin, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, good.
Ready to roll.
Do you have a prediction for tonight? You want to give something?
I picked Purdue just because I think they're playing really well right now. But it wouldn't surprise me because Purdue's probably the most erratic team in college basketball. So you never know what you're going to get even from half to half. So as long as Nebraska doesn't fall behind by like 20 right out of the gate, like they did last time, they can probably hang around and give themselves a chance.
I didn't ask you this question. So they won the Iowa game, and going to the Iowa game was the slow start thing. And they still started slow against Iowa, but are you still worried about that a lot?
It's just kind of what they are. They've been a slow starting team all season long, going back to even a non-conference play. So like the thing for them is to make sure that they don't bury themselves too deep because for whatever reason, it always takes them a while to get going, outside of maybe a game here or there. But then they're a second half team. So as long as they're within punching reach and going into halftime, usually they're going to make the adjustments and come out much stronger in the second half.
Our exclusive breakdown from Robin Washington here on this is YouTube only. We're not on the air. Okay. We're only on the YouTube stream. So it's like I keep the mic on and I talk to them while we're in between. But all right, I'll talk to you. All right. You're the man. Appreciate you. We got all the celebrities, all the Husker celebrities.
Now back to Middays with Matt
in the building.
on 16
Washington's in the building.
The Zone.
Got some Chicago people I know here too. Ron and Mike jump through. We got a fun segment coming up here. We got to give away. Oh.
Hey there.
Are we live?
Oh yeah, baby.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? There you go. Back on. And now you sound off. We've had a great day of no tech problems.
The problem is I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear Josh Odds.
Okay, well,
but I'm live. I can talk. All right, I'll just talk. We are here. All the celebrities are here. I'm sorry, I was talking through our rejoin because I did not know that we were going live. Some things have happened here, some technical difficulties, but we will work through it. I'm surrounded right now by Husker basketball royalty. Robin Washington here to my left, Brian Christopherson here to my right. The first game of the Big Ten tournament today here on Friday has concluded. The Michigan Wolverines defeating Ohio State. Some really bad late game execution by the Buckeyes leads to this defeat. They were in it to the very end. A really highly contested game. Bruce Thornton showed out big time. But 22 points, couldn't get it done at the very end. Some really good late game defense by the Michigan Wolverines. Some very questionable, just how they executed Ohio State at the end of the game. Took too much time off the clock on their final bucket. Didn't have enough time to foul. Michigan made their free throws. It was one of those deals, too, where John Mobley Jr. gets in the bucket and ends up missing a bunny. Then they got a foul. Then he only makes one free throw. Just absolute disaster from Ohio State, who did have a really good showing overall. The Mara, 17.7 rebounds, 1 assist for the Wolverines, where, I don't know. I think we've seen this throughout this season from Michigan, where sometimes they can have closer games. But I'll tell you this, those last 4 minutes, when it really came to, they stepped up. So they pick up that one. against Michigan. They will play, or against Ohio State rather. They will play the winner of this upcoming game between Wisconsin and Illinois. Illinois, the 4 seed. Wisconsin, the 5 seed. Wisconsin heading into this tournament was plus 3,000 to win it. I thought that was stealing. I didn't bet it like a dummy. I should have.
You'll never
But I
learn.
even went as far as to tweet out that they had very interesting odds. They won their game yesterday against Washington. I'm going to look right now. I am in a state where I can gamble on my phone, fun fact. So if I felt so inclined, I could click a couple buttons. I would have way less money, though, if I actually had that able for me to do. But 14 minutes away from tip-off here between Illinois and Wisconsin. It's going to be a really good matchup between some flamethrowers on both sides of the ball. John Blackwell for Wisconsin, one of the best scorers in the league. And you cannot forget about Keaton Wagler. Keaton Wagler, lotto pick for sure. John Blackwell, I think he's mocked to go in the second round. It's been really interesting how the NBA draft has kind of evaluated guys like Blackwell and Bennett Sturts and Tucker DeVries heading into this game. If we're currently looking at lines here for this game between Illinois and Wisconsin. Oh, son of a gun. You can't bet on this game because you can't bet on Illinois in Illinois. They have those state rules that Nebraska has. So I can't even see the line currently right now. But let me go ahead and look at it. I want to see this real quick before this game's played. I want to get it out to people because I think I might bet this if this is correct, if this is the right lines for me. Team futures. Let's go conference tourney winner. This is on FanDuel. Let's see. ACC, American, Big 12, Big West, Ivy League, MEAC, Mountain West. Why can't I bet the Big 10 conference tourney winner? Josh Hodson? What the hell is going on?
I don't have it on my FanDuel either.
Tourney winner odds. This is a damn shame. This segment's a disaster. Anyway, though, going to be a really good game at 5:30 tonight. Nebraska will go ahead and take on Purdue. Heard Robin Washit to the left of me. Had an exclusive interview with Robin for the people who are watching during our YouTube kind of chat between segments. Not worried about the slow starts. Oh, thank you, PC. Appreciate the comments. Anyway, Robin had a great point. I asked him about the slow start. I'm telling you, people, we worried a lot about the slow starts of Nebraska basketball heading into the Iowa game. And because they won the Iowa game, we kind of glossed over the fact that they had a slow start. Like they did not start very fast against Iowa. If they do it again today against Purdue, the same thing's going to happen like it did at Pinnacle Bank Arena, which is they're going to be having to scratch and claw their way back from a very, very big deficit. So fast start needed today for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. To Robin's point, though, which he made, they've kind of been a slow start team all season. Definitely a second half team have the Nebraska Cornhuskers been throughout the entirety of the year. So maybe it's just kind of how they're made at the same time. When you got Fred Hoiberg in the postgame saying, we lost the game in the first 3 minutes, probably don't try and do that again when you go ahead and play this team in postseason play. So quick little updates. First off, this went under the radar, actually. Jack Stoll, the former tight end for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, signed with the Cleveland Browns in the offseason and free agency. Congratulations to Jack Stoll. Luke Gifford, everybody's favorite, re-signs with the San Francisco 49ers, played a big role for the Niners as a linebacker on special teams. Got some money, Josh Hodson. Got some bank, Luke Gifford did. So congratulations to Luke. Some impressive stuff. Also, just quick shout-outs. Selection Sunday for the men, obviously, will be very exciting for Nebraska Cornhusker fans. But for Nebraska basketball, women's basketball fans, Selection Sunday is going to be stressful. Nebraska women's basketball right on the bubble, baby. According to CBS, a couple days ago, they released their bracketology. Nebraska basketball, the last four in, the last team in. Nebraska women's basketball, must-watch television will be the women's selection show on Sunday to see if Amy Williams' team, led by Britt Prince, is going to be dancing. So also, shout out to Rifle and shout out to Indoor Track. They have their NCAA National Championships this weekend, so good luck to those teams for Nebraska sports. Don't forget, next week we're going to have the NCAA Wrestling Championships. That will be appointment television. Nebraska Wrestling will have a plethora of guys competing in the national championship. So I want to do a little housekeeping there. Coming up next, we got our picks. We got our dog of the day, a little tournament flavor, and what to watch tonight if I can figure out how to listen to Josh Hodson on this next segment on Middays with Matt at the United Center. Good. Hey, Lee, I'm going to leave on that.
Enemy the players Circus before, during, and after all Big Ten tournament games. Failure to comply will result in dismissal from the arena. Your cooperation is appreciated.
All right.
Thank you, and enjoy the
Hopefully I exited and I came back in, so hopefully I can hear Josh. Let me pull our dog of the day out. All I did not see. Wow. That's what he wants? Okay. That'll never get old. Did you see a lot of Husker fans on your way in at all? Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many show up tonight. I was telling people over the air, like, Chicago's a Purdue town. Like, there's a lot of Purdue alumni here. I don't know. I'm a little worried that maybe people will save up for the tourney and not come out to this. And Huskers they have a good alumni base here, but not to the level of some of these other schools. God, I can't stand Wisconsin.
Stibbs is always mile high.
Holy Chicago!
right, I can't hear the studio again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's wrong. I have no idea why your output isn't working now, but regardless.
Gonna make a crossover hard.
Is it? No. Yeah, I don't know. I got no idea, but I can't hear you. I'm sorry. But, Josh Hodson, what are we watching tonight?
I'll tell you what you're watching. I'll text it to you, Matt. The Big Ten tournament, Purdue against Nebraska, 5:30 tonight on Big Ten Network. Tournament action all throughout the weekend, and then the NCAA selection show, 5 o'clock Sunday on CBS and right here on 1620 The Zone. NBA all weekend, Cavs, Mavs, 6:30 tonight on Prime, followed by Wolves and Warriors. Nuggets, Lakers, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on ABC. Wolves and Thunder, 12:30 Sunday on ABC. And, of course, tomorrow you got the boys state basketball championships on Nebraska Public Media all day tomorrow. Hockey all weekend long. Tomorrow afternoon on ABC, 2 o'clock puck drop in our nation's capital for Bruins Caps. And then 6:30 Sunday night on TNT, it is the Maple Leafs and the Wild. World Baseball Classic. We go to the knockout rounds. The winner advances to Monday's semifinals. Team USA against Canada, 7 o'clock tonight on Big Fox. They will play the winner of Korea and the Dominican Republic on Sunday. Excuse me, I got that wrong earlier. Paul Skeens will pitch for Team USA on Sunday. Maine versus Nebraska, 6 o'clock tonight on Big Ten Plus. Kraton Tulane on ESPN Plus all weekend. Softball, Michigan, Nebraska on Big Ten Plus all weekend. Kraton, they christen their new digs this weekend. Congratulations to them. ESPN Plus in about an hour. Today's Friday the 13th. You can watch all 8 original films on Paramount Plus. And Sunday night at 6 o'clock on ABC and Hulu, it is the 98th Annual Academy Awards. Conan O'Brien returns as host. Sinners leads the way with 16 nominations. Matt.
Josh Hodson, great job. Incredible stuff. Riveting. Can't wait to watch all of what you just said.
What were you most excited for?
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out.
Dog.
I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners.
Dog.
Winners.
Dog. Are you actually frozen?
Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
No, he's actually frozen. Oh, now you're not frozen. Okay, you were frozen for a second. All right, I'm good. All right. So we laid down the gauntlet yesterday. We told you that if you're somebody who thinks you have a winner, that you think you have a lock, you think that you got it, we're going to take it and we're going to roll with it, okay? And that the rules of Dog of the Day are the same as what they are at the park at the basketball court. You make it, you take it. We had a ghost dog yesterday come in and tell us, hey, say Bonaventures, money line. Take it, you cowards. We took it. We won. So you know what? Ghost Dog gets another crack at the barrel. He will reveal the gender. He is taking Seton Hall plus 6.5 against St. John's. Plus 105, our Dog of the Day, Seton Hall Pirates, baby. Okay? Like we said, we're taking win. This isn't about me. This isn't about Josh. This isn't about pride. This is about money. This is about winners. This is about your pocketbook. So if we're going to get a pick that's going to put money in your pocket, we're going to take that money. We're going to take that pick. All right? And so our ghost dog, our watchdog, if you will, Seton Hall plus 6.5. What a show this has been. What a time this has been. What a phenomenal experience this has been from the United Center, from the TIAA Big Ten tourney. About to tip off Wisconsin and Illinois, but signing off right now. Thanks to Early Bird. It's been Middays with Matt. The unsportsmanlike crossover is coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.